On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, Oniland rerun happened. And also some other stuff happened. We'll talk to you about that. There'll be some news about some eggs later. Then there's going to be some mailbag. And then what's probably going to be the reason why you're going to stick around for the whole show is I, Omega, have prepared for you 2 pages of notes about what the plot and universe rules of Tsukihime are. So get ready to watch me slowly fall into that hole of insanity. Now, I'm one of your hosts, Omega, of course. I will be teaching you today. With me, as always, my teaching assistant, Lucky. He has pie.
Yes. Everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, a.k.a. A Face Full of Pumpkin Pie. And while we here at Tsukihime like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should escape to the far side of the moon.
You know, I was about to just stack both of my overcharge effects on one comma, but then I realized my comma had 49% battery, so I can just do 2 comma NPs instead of 1 big comma NP. I'm doing the story right now, guys. It's very funny that comma is a bonus servant. But alright, okay. So, this week's gonna be a weird show, because we do have some news for you, we got some follow-ups, we got all this stuff to talk about, but also, it is kind of like what we talked about last week. JP hasn't really made any money moves, as we say, yet. There's a new banner, there's a limited servant on it, but he's a rerun. So, you know, it's not super crazy. They haven't announced what's happening next. NA has comfortably slotted it into Oniland rerun times. So it'll be pretty interesting. You're probably going to be here for Teach Me, but I hope you enjoy it. We will also, if that doesn't take us too long, also do Fanservant Friday. But we have to see where I am at emotionally after I talk about Tsukihime. For more reason than one. Which I'm sure the people in the back are talking about. That's a lot of text. That is correct. But let us go ahead and remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Aka Comics, Aka Kazime, Arctic 10, Lexo G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, and Cyber23. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, I think we'll just immediately... What's the time clock on this? 3 minutes-ish. 2:45. We'll just scoot straight into Senpai times. Let me find my button for that. Hold on. Yeah, is this where we talk about other things? Like he's just showing a preview of an upcoming Destiny Child character, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's where I'm
God,
going.
if only I had I didn't even have the free time to do a game that mostly plays itself. Actually, no, I probably do have the free time. It's just I would be killing my phone battery.
No, like I have literally set up my game to loop this one map 1,000 times, and I'm just letting it go. It's probably not going to be 1,000 times because I got other shit to do in there, but it's just not going to stop until I tell it to stop. So, Oops. And no, Loth probably will not die. Loth is probably dead already from the current event. I dragged Loth back into D-Child, and he's suffering.
Good job. All right, let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash. Wait, hold on. Instant, you didn't play my button? Did my instant button website, my soundboard website die? Yeah. Fuck, it's just whited out now. I guess we like crashed or something. Hold on. Wait. Is it coming back?
Oh no.
The loading is taking a really long time. There we go. Okay, hold on. Let me try the button.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Okay. The sound cue worked. Took me a second. Had to fiddle with it. Internet. Tech diff. Yeah, hopefully my audio doesn't crash, knock on wood, but I've updated my drivers and restarted my computer since then, so it's... No, FGO, I get the spoken dialogue is cute, but I'm trying to do a show. I can't play the audio right now. I'm trying to catch up on story. I didn't do it last night. I just did my support setup. But today we have 2 pro tips for you, which are both Oniland related. Number 1, if you need to remind yourself about Oniland, or if this is your first time doing the show, if you want that sweet, sweet pregame, our episode came out last year around this time. It is called Nobukatsu Invited to Oniland Pregame, so go to our channel and search that if you want to find it. That'll give you the info you need, so I don't have to repeat myself. And also, there will be a raid later. You have several time locks before then. Don't worry about it. I know some people are like, oh, maximum speed. It's not a big deal. Just progress your story when the time locks come out. But when the raid happens, it will drop eggs if that's something you care about, which most people care about. So, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, if you want a much more high energy, a much more cracked show, as we say, tune into What's Up Tomorrow, or later today if you are not a patron watching this early. Please, I beg you. It'll be great. We'll be much more enthusiastic and have a lot more new things to talk about, just because totally shit last week. But for now, we will progress down our show notes for Let's Take FGO.
Okay. Good.
No records, no evil. Instead, we will ask you, did you finish your master missions? And they are defeat 15 humanoid enemies, defeat 15 wild beast enemies, defeat 3 knight class servants, defeat 3 cavalry class servants, get 2 gems or statue drops, and get 4 gems or statue drops. So, kind of do dailies, but that wild beast one's kind of a fucker on dailies. Trust me, I've been trying to get it out of dailies. I eventually had to go to somewhere in Orleans and just punch werewolves. I think like your best bet is like Berserker daily. Punch Tomacat shadows. Sorry, it's a little warm in here. I don't have any. Okay, let's do Skelegrams.
Yep.
It'll be fast.
Zoom.
So, first off, JP, Summer 6, Banner 3, which is actually the 4th banner. It's Doman and Columbus plus CEs. Yay. This is actually pretty interesting. Doman is a limited servant. He is getting a rate up about 9 months after release. Pretty good, pretty good. Probably not going to get another rate up this year. If I had to guess, no rerun on Heian-kyo. Yeah. I was trying not to say Oniland, because Oniland is happening. So, yeah, that was a main interlude / story type event, so naturally there probably won't be a rerun associated with those banners. But so no one gets a rate up. That is relevant to certain people for mechanics. He does have some interesting stuff he does. And if you don't care, well, your wallet is safe.
Yeah. Hey, that means that's probably means he's guaranteed at least 1 rate up next year, too.
Yeah, possibly at this rate. That seems like a decent way to... Actually, I think that kind of makes sense for their story limited. Like, think of how many rate-ups, like, regular Musashi and Moriarty get. Like, they usually pepper them in there every once in a while. I don't know if Abigail has a great rate-up schedule, but she got a couple, and we had several foreigners. That's a hypothetical question for a different time, because I don't care that much right now. We also have Camelot the Stage Summon Banner the 2, going from the 24th of September, which is right now. Actually, is that banner live? I might spend tickets. I can't remember if that starts tonight or today already. Need to double check my time zones. Anyway, it goes until the 3rd of the October, and this one is probably the slightly more anticipated one. Though I don't know, Da Vinci was a limited, but that was a big banner we missed. But it's Lancer Artoria and Mordred, and then Lancelot Gawain and Tristan and Bedivere on rotation. So it's your second batch of knights. We're just gonna slam jamma all of our FGO the Stage knights together. Also, this is all technically still just the website release commemoration. This isn't actually to commemorate the actual stage play thing yet. That may or may not be when we get the Merlin banner, because Merlin had a banner associated with the stage play, because duh. So, okay, no, that is tonight. All right. I have like 5 tickets. I may spend them on that. But okay, that was that. So, we're moving on to the news about the Oniland rerun. This is also starting the 24th, but it actually already started. Thank you, time zones. My 24-hour clocks. This will go until the 7th of October. Now, this has usual rerun stuff. There's still time gates, but there's some smoothed experiences. You know, you should find some stuff going a little bit faster. Rewards of command codes and the Grail have been replaced by prisms and a lore, respectively. So you can get your lores, get your prisms. During this event, obviously, Onikiri gets double EXP during this time, and also she starts with the 50% battery and plus 100% attack, which is good. It's very important.
Bonk.
I'm very glad that my Onikiri is already leveled.
Mm-hmm.
We also added to the bonus list quite a few servants. I had to double check this, but Benny Enma, Paris, Gareth, Sima Yi, Da Vinci Rider, Miyu, Kama, and King Protea have been all added as bonus servants. I guess because King Protea is small at heart. Mm-hmm. But yes, these are all small servants, therefore they can ride the rides at Oniland. And that's good, because there was like literally 1 saber. Now, I still don't have any sabers who qualify. I put Lancelot in there because he gets double FP right now, but I don't have a bonus servant. Alas, alack. And at 10 minutes, well, 11 minutes, but 10-ish minutes, we've already cleared all the news.
Ooh, boy. Well, with all that, deep and heavy stuff out of the way, I guess that I just realized Canis is a nipping it in this fucking thing. How dare. Sorry, Lucky has got a close-up on this art. So, that means it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, a segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. Today, we have, let's see here. We have 22, a healthy number, I would say.
Yep.
It's like just around the amount of portion. Don't have to cut it back at all.
It was 19 about an hour ago, and then some people remembered at the last minute.
As
Slid
they
them in
do.
there.
As they do. But we will get through them all. Like we said, we do not have a huge back half, so give me 1 second here.
I mean,
I
I think we have a fairly chunky back half, but when Skelegrams is 10 minutes, there's no reason. Let's just go for it.
Let's just go. Hang on 1 second. Did I do this wrong? Oh, that's right. I saved this as 2020, not 2021. I'm back in the past.
We've got to go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass.
No.
I'm not going to sing the rest of the song because the Angry Video Game Nerd is very vulgar.
There we go. So, now that that's been posted, I can close all this art
You are
program.
correct. The cutoff on the Canis triptych is very funny. All right, but I will save the thumbnail.
So,
By the way, Dallas insists that Sei Shonagon is a reference to Harley Quinn and not just Harajuku fashion in general.
well, fucking Dallas... I'm not going to say anything that's going to be recorded up for prosperity on the internet, so...
I told Dallas that's because he's a nerd about DC Comics and not about Japan.
Yeah, we can go about that. We can say that. Ugh. So, with that, though...
Is that
Yes, the Imperial Pedanta is an animal. Yes,
that
and that's
supposed to
still
be
Dallas.
10 IQ? I don't
No.
understand this emote, Robin.
I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to start with these fucking questions.
Let's go.
So our first one comes from King of Apple, who hasn't missed a login since the last time he did.
Good for you.
That's how it lasts. By the way, on average, Lucky only lasts a week before he forgets, because usually I forget over a weekend, because I do not have such a structured schedule as much, where I'm usually super into something I'm doing, and not, constantly bored at work and fiddling with my phone at random times.
Yeah.
Anyway, they say, question, since Lost Belt 7 and is in South America, do you think we'll see Ort or learn about Ultimate Ones? They're from space, and the Hour God is from space. I can't help but feel the two are related. So, I'm gonna say most definitely maybe.
So, yes, part 1, possibly. Part 2, not a question, but a statement. No, that's not correct. I can't... First of all, son, space is big. Like, mind-bogglingly big. Like, you might think it's a long way down the street to the chemist, but that's just peanuts compared to space, okay? Yes, I will not stop quoting Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Fight me, IRL. Anyway, but also, yeah, no, space is fucking huge. So, no, just because the Ultimate Ones are from space does not mean... Like, compared to, say, like, Velber, from wherever the fuck they're from, Ort is, like, a local. He's a fucking neighbor. Because he's from Mercury, okay? Like, literally from Mercury. That Mercury. So, yeah, no, I do not think that the Ultimate Ones and the Alien God are necessarily intrinsically related, unless it turns out that they are, but that would be, like, one of those weird Nasu world-building things. Like, we have multiple alien life forms that are around Earth, because, like I said, Nasu secretly wants to just write space fiction. He wants to write science fiction, kind of. But, yeah, but the first bit, like you said, definitely maybe. Entirely possible.
Like, in our third opening, we have some things that make you think some things, but as Lucky learned, I saw some things that made me think about things in Lost Belt 6, and I was completely fucking off, so I was all like, no, I have been, oh no, as we like to say in the community, oh no, my hubris. So we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Moon is patiently waiting for Saber Wars 2 to get the cutie Calamity Jane, hopefully less than 100 Saint Quartz. Well, good luck on that. That's not going to happen with me. It's just not. It never does. It never does. I cry eternally. But they say, question. Hey there, Loki and Omega. Hope you had a great week. I recently heard of a fan-made Fate VN game, called Fate, Empire of Dirt. Do you guys have any thoughts about it? I literally don't care. People every once in a while get a wild hair up their bum, but like, check this out. I'm all like, cool, someone has put a lot of effort into making this, but it's someone's fan work. Therefore, I really don't care.
This will come back later. Yeah, I've heard of it. Their art style's good, and I think they have some interesting designs for some characters, but it's a fan game, so it's neat. I believe it is text-heavy, just like actual Fate works, so kind of don't have time for that. Also, wasn't it... I think it was originally released not in English. I do believe there is an English translation now, but yeah.
Oh, it's an eroge. Cool. So, thank you very much for that. We're going to move on. This next one comes from a master of spoiling passionately but treats while Met and Sith argue about who looks the best in stilettos. They say, hey, Tower King, Lucky, and Wise Sage Omega, I hope I apologize for my spoiler question last week. I was so excited for what the future holds. I'll try to do my best to keep my questions to the immediate events from now on.
Mm-hmm.
To bring in hypotheticals now, yay. With the newest Melty Blood right around the corner, when the Tsukihime collab happens, yes, I'm throwing down the gauntlet, do it, the Lightworks, you coward. Watch, they're not going to do a Tsukihime collab, they're going to do a fucking Melty Blood collab, and people are just going to be like, what?
And the difference will be incredibly subtle. It won't matter. But they'll still call it a Melty Blood collab. We'll be like, what? It'll be because then they don't have to explain anything when it comes to NA in 2 years, because Melty Blood is going to release over here.
But, what classes do you think Shiki, Seal, and Arcuid might get? I have an awesome idea about... oh, wait, no. They pronounce it Archuid.
Yeah, they put an H in there. It's not in there.
I have an awesome idea of how Archuid could be designed, but I restrain myself as I know how Lucky feels about people fapping their fanfics and ideas all over the place. If you already had my concept, let me know and I'll share next week. I also celebrated my 29th The Spawn Bay on Tuesday, and after pondering life, universe, and everything, I'm happy where I am and looking forward to an even better year. Anyways, have a great weekend, dudes, and have fun in Oniland. So, I know this might be literally, doubling down, but Shiki would totally be assassin. I was actually looking him up earlier. It was like, because Omega's writing things about Tsukihime, I was like, all right, I'm gonna need to be ready to back him up if he needs to fumbles over something. And I'm just looking at Shiki's skills, and he's like, no, this dude's a fucking assassin.
I mean, he literally, he would literally have, it would be a lower rank, but he literally has the Mystic Eyes of Death Perception skill kind of thing. Yeah, so probably be a slightly different arts assassin.
Yeah.
So, slight spoilers for a bullet point later, but Arc has literally appeared in a Fate game. She's a boss in Extra as a Berserker, and I think that fits. Yep. Because she's either a vampire or, my understanding, I'm not super familiar, but my understanding is when she's not being a fucking murder machine, is she's a little bit of an airhead sometimes because of her, being a super ancient immortal vampire. Mm-hmm. So I think Berserker could work. Seal is probably the most open-ended. That I don't know.
Archer.
Yeah, she throws black keys and has some gun stuff, some sacred armaments. Probably Archer. And if you want to let people know, you don't have to call us back next week in mailbag and make Lucky read it. You could post it in the comments of this episode as it's released and let everybody read it.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
But thank you very much.
Happy Spawn Day, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So we move on. This next one comes from the Time King looking at the new Melty Blood trailer and asking, what the hell is Red Arcuid? Ooh,
that sounds like a
boy howdy.
thing.
Yeah. Kind of not.
By the way, I have another, this is literally a bullet point later I will also spoil. I talk about how some stuff from the original got repurposed into Melty Blood, and how that is its own deep dark lore hole that you will have to get into another time.
So just add what is up with Melty Blood to the list?
Oh, it's already on the list, yeah. We'll probably get there next month at this rate. Especially because, doesn't that come out next week?
Yes.
Yeah. I will probably not pick it up right away. But at some point, we'll do it. Alright. Yes, this person has a question.
Yes. They say, question. Hey guys, how's it going? My question is, what are your thoughts on the Galefest story bit at the end, and how might it play into the upcoming SW2? If it's the same Spitchar or not. Anyway, have a nice night and stay frosty, my friends. No, I want to be the opposite of frosty. I want to be toasty, but not too toasty.
I want to be a little bit frosty. I'm not sure if my internet thermometer is updating, but it says it's... No, okay, it did update. It's now 79 degrees at 9 o'clock at night. Could be a little frosty. As to your question, I mean, I don't want to say a blanket statement because I haven't read Saber Wars 2 thanks to the power of moon runes, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the same one. It was kind of the point, was that Ishtar was a completely separate spirit origin from our normal-ass Ishtar.
And, I mean, Doomsday is just all like, Space Ishtar will return, and Gil's just all like, you motherfucker, you just wanted to say that. He was like, Doomsday out.
Drop the sheep.
Meh.
Meh.
But that's our thoughts on that, so we shall carry on. The next one comes from He Who
boy.
Speaks. He Who's... Why is there an apostrophe S on this who?
That's an incorrect use of apostrophe S, my dude.
I can't even comprehend it. He who speaks to his bank account, soothing and comforting it, telling that it's alright, I'm not going to massacre you in 2 years' time. I'm free to play. Don't you worry. This is a lie. This is a lie, and you know it is. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to yourself either.
That's 2 yellow flags. 5-yard penalty for the inappropriate use of the possessive S. And then 15-yard penalty, still first down. For that lying to yourself.
Actually, we are in football. We are in football time now, aren't we? I keep forgetting about that. Oh well.
It is now the season of the football, of the hand egg.
Futsal, the gridiron. But they say,
Lucky just clicked show more.
I did?
Yeah.
I hate this feeling so much.
Everything's fine. Show more.
I think my voice is slowly just getting a bit more gravelly, just as I get more and more, as I just slowly tear my throat apart talking to people constantly. So, they say, hey, Lucky Omega, hopes I've been treating you alright with almost everyone dreading NA 2023. I'm curious if you made any tentative plans on whom not to rule for, seeing how that's all the rage at the moment. I actually haven't thought about it much, but I intend to save up about 2k Saint cores to try and get at least of NP1 of each, maybe more for Morgan. IDK.
It's a lot of sync cords saved up.
My question to the two of you pertains to QOL and FGO, with bigger screens. That was with a capital B for some odd reason. Faster animations and a bunch of other stuff being implemented in JP, which would eventually make its way into NA. What features do you want to see implemented? Penti sent it aside, since that isn't ever happening, I think. Personally, I want something along the lines of a 0 AP training quest where you can choose the enemy types, attributes, class, HP range to test team comps and the like. Best of luck during the Oniland event, especially if you intend to join the raid. I'll be saving my Saint Quartz and apples for Xmas. Cheers and have a great weekend. P.S. Getting my first dose of vaccine sometime this week. Get vaccinated, y'all. I want to wear a mask forever.
Well, luckily that first thing you said wasn't your question, so I will not respond to it. About quality of life. I think we and people in the community have advocated a basic, literal training room quest, right? Where you can just do it over and over again and test team comps. I know a lot of people hypothetically like the ability to redo certain CQs or whatever to test different team comps. I don't usually, because those are usually a pain in the ass. But the idea of a quest that you can repeat over and over again and experiment with is cool. Like those little max damage quests they do sometimes.
I've never particularly ever felt a need for that, but I do agree with some people that I would like. I know I've said this before, but I would definitely like a system where I can go back and play memorable story fights and whatnot.
Yeah, boss memory would be another interesting way of doing that. Yeah, I think that's all that springs to mind with that.
And then let us carry on. Thank you very much for that. So, moving on, this next one comes from Agent418, who says, hello, Mega and Lucky. Do you think FGO could have a servant that extends buff by 1 or more turns, or to a less extent a servant that removes debuffs that counts as buffs? P.S. I hope everyone had a great week. Well, for the first part, I definitely think it's something that they could probably do, but they're probably concerned about how it messes up game balance and whatnot. But,
yeah, I think that reducing skill cooldown is probably a more popular way to extend buffs by getting them to stack up faster without really fucking anything up. It's definitely a thing, though, because obviously buffs have their own timers. You could absolutely do, but it would probably have to have its own pretty high timer.
What Omega said. I got nothing to add to that.
But the second one, that remove debuffs that count as buffs. Oh, somebody should go to... Yes, it's 3 in the morning for you. You should go to bed. That, I don't know, I literally don't know how that works in the coding. If demerits count as buffs, how does the code know to remove them without removing buffs? I guess that would be pick a buff to remove, which, by the way, that could be an interesting mechanic that I don't think we've done. Actually, you can only remove 1 buff or debuff, but you get to pick. Could be interesting, but yeah. I literally don't know how that works with the spaghetti code.
Okay. So, yeah, no, Mega has basically said everything, so we'll move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Too Many Apples, Not Enough Doctors. They say, hello, Relic Seekers, Lucky and Omega. What do you think of Anansi, assassin or ruler? Maybe there's an idea for Fanservant Friday. Personally, off the top of my head, it definitely could kind of be a semi-Remy situation, a caster assassin kind of dual class. Like I said, Anansi is probably one of the most well-known of the African gods, being, the trickster spider and the keeper of all the stories. So I can definitely see that probably dips into both sides. As for ruler, not entirely sure.
Yeah, I guess that question would be, does Anansi have a use for a grail or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur with Lucky. Question over.
Then we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Ias, the one blessed this year, who says, yo guys, feel blessed this year? On a serious question, any particular servant that you have AMD, that you have AMD? I'm not sure we're going there.
And
really like, that you have AMD really like. I'm just dumb.
We're all sleepy today.
It's a sleepy kind of day, y'all. Really like that you wish you could have more interludes or actions and events so you can enjoy their interacting with servants. I forgot to click read more. Even more! An example of such servant for me would be Medea Lily, as we really haven't seen much from her outside as the villain for Okeanos in the Prism event while she was bullying the Jason Polly, and during her interlude to make the Infinite Pancake. We'll never run out, but I would also not recommend eating it. Would be nice to see her interacting with other servants now that she is a proper Chaldean servant. My opinion of Murasaki is slightly higher because she works for my 3-turn clear of stake farming. Still find it funny she's an MP4 while Lancer Raiko is only NP2. I hope you mean that your opinion of Murasaki was already super high to begin with, because if not, we're gonna have to have words.
Also, that second thing, that's not funny at all. NP3 Time Lancer, NP1 murdered.
Sincerely, Ias, the one who's been blessed. Like he's gonna resort to his default answer, giving more Tamamo. Like legit actually giving more Tamamo. Stop making her have just weird ass little cameos and stuff. I think the only real event we've ever seen fucking her actually say more than just a few lines of dialogue is probably Sparrow's Inn. Like she shows up for like a scene and fucking well, she's in Summer 1. That's Tama Lancer, but again, that's not really story. That's just you're hanging out on a fucking deserted island because why the fuck not? The
story elements of the first summer are very lean. It's all great, but it's not like very advanced.
And then
also summer
she shows up for a scene in London. She shows up for a scene in Summer 4.
So I still don't have a Tamamo. Does Tamamo have interludes?
Yeah, she has like, what, 1? 2?
Is that for Fox Wedding?
I think so.
Yeah, I suppose that probably wasn't a very deep cut.
And if I remember correctly, she has a scene in... Yeah, she's a little in Shimosa. Like, this is what I'm talking about. She has like a little bit. She's a little bit. She's just sprinkled in.
We're just peppering her in.
Just peppering her in. Like, from what I understand, she has a scene in Heian Kyo too, but again, it's nothing. It goes nowhere. It's just, hey, I'm Tamamo. I'm here. What's up?
Well, yeah. CCC is a deliberate subversion. They deliberately set up that you're going to get these servants and then BB fucks with you, which I understand, but also does mean that characters who should be relevant miss out on their relevancy. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, my response in the similar vein would be Medusa, because other than showing up in every Guda Guda event for like 5 minutes, she doesn't ever get anything either. Other than the cavalcade of interludes for herself, Stheno, and Urale, which have kind of stopped since they ran out of buffs for Stheno. Also, I gotta be real, all those interludes were boring. Look, Stheno and Urale are terrible people, and Medusa is here.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the Journey of the West when they bullied her into putting on the horns and hanging out with them. She's like, oh my god. Yeah. Yes, Medusa is big and being bullied. That's basically... That's the thing. Is Medusa being bullied? Well, it's another day at the fucking office.
I mean, like, I think that's kind of the funny gap moe to Medusa is that, like, she is a big, scary, almost monster girl, and in her serious context, she can be quite frightening, but also she's, kind of a funny, squishy one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know obviously we have like extra small and we have extra large, but it's not really the same. And also, quite frankly, you guys don't do fucking anything with Honor or Gorgon either. I'm on to you. I know what's up.
I'll post some Medusa appreciation here.
But yeah, like it's a great action shot. But yeah, like that's I think in a similar vein, and obviously some people will be like, there's this servant and that servant. I don't think it's necessarily just classic characters. One, Nier shows up all the fucking time. She has her own festival. She shows up for no reason and does nothing, but she's there. They keep giving me Nero CEs that do the exact same thing. So like I think there's some flexibility, Like, Emmy is not in any main story content, but he still gets to show up a lot in, like, interludes and events and stuff as jokes. But now we have a library, and we can't even get, like, Medusa to show up in it. Summer Medusa when? If my demands are not met, I will crash the gacha market or something.
Something.
If my demands are not met within 365 days, I will crash the St. Quartz market. I will flip over the tankers full of St. Quartz and dump them into the ocean.
No, please do not feed Poseidon's gotcha addiction. So...
Joke's on you, I am Poseidon.
Ah!
I rip off the mask. I reveal I've been Poseidon the whole time.
No. You owe me some figures, then. So...
I mean, no. For me, it's a Count Dracula situation. I let Delightworks know they have 365 days to live and make peace with their god, and when they're done, and if I don't have Summer Medusa, I will crash down as a giant flaming face. Your motherfucking life ends 365 days from now. Anyway,
we're gonna move on. So this next one comes from the Eternal Storm, who says, "Hey guys, hope you both are well. I have a 2-week break from school due to the next class not being ready till the next need of the month. Need of the month. My need of the month is money. Question. I noticed in the intro for this mailbag, there's a mention of handling cultural artifacts. Can you go into more detail? Thank you both. A good luck on the Oniland rerun." So, I am not 110% sure, but some sort of South or Central American obsidian knife came by on my desk the other day, and I'm just all like, the fuck is this? And it was actual obsidian. I would know. I accidentally broke it.
Rip.
I dropped that shit on the ground, and it just shattered. I'm just like, I had to go explain to management. They're like, no, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. But, like I said, it was unmarked. It was very old. I mean, very old. The obsidian was still sharp. I cut myself on it. That's how I knew it was obsidian.
Yeah, obsidian's one of those materials that is self-sharpening, basically. If you fragment or edge it in any way, it just gets sharper.
Yeah, it was scary. And it just was like this, it had this like, oh god, how do I even want to explain this hilt? It wasn't like necessarily like just like full stone. It was like kind of this fractured and carved and chiseled thing, like wrapped in leather. I'm just like, what is this? I don't fucking know. I just could tell from some of the patterns that it looked like it's originated from fucking like, Central South America. And I was like, did they even have obsidian down there? Like, yes. I'm not sure. Oh, they do. Okay, cool.
Yeah, obsidian's anywhere where there's volcanoes, you can get volcanic glass. And
it's like I couldn't like.
There are indeed volcanoes in the Andes.
Okay. So it's just one of those moments of like, wow, this might be actually something crazy, or it could have been like just some sort of replica or something. I don't fucking know.
And now Lucky has awoken the father of knives.
Please no. I feel cursed enough as is. But no, just every so once in a while, I'll just get like weird like little things. Like actually today, I actually handled this really interesting old wooden bow. It was actually made completely from wood, even the string. It was a completely decorational ceremonial. It was not actually to be used just the way you can tell just by the way it was made and stuff. It was very ornate, carved. The arrows weren't arrows. They were just more like long shafts. Oh, sorry. I'm watching the chat go. Yes, long shafts. I know you like them, Robin.
Boom. Dunked. Chaos dunk. Power bombed from the top rope into the long shafts. Boom. Double got him. XX Saber got 'ems. Wow, that's a different one. That's adorable. I like that. It's a very different tone than our usual hiding in the sewers.
But no, it's just like, again, we get fucking everything at Goodwill. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I also, but I do want to clarify. No, Lucky did not handle the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet.
No.
Send that back to
No.
Iraq. It's okay.
But yeah, no, I've handled like books from like the 1850s. Like I said, these really old knives, really old bows. Oh, what else have I fucked with? Radios from World War II. I'm pretty sure some of the clothing I've handled is actually very, very, very fucking old. But I don't know how to date clothing, yo. I really don't. I'm all like, this fabric is very well preserved, but at the same time, it doesn't look like anything I've seen out of the past 200 years. What the fuck is this? It's wild. Anyway, I like my job. I like my job a little bit more because I actually complained about some of the emails I was getting, and my manager actually came up to me and was all like, hey, let's talk about this for a second. And I'm just like, listen. When your boss's boss, they're like, hey, man, I'm glad you complained. Let's talk about this shit. You have a moment of all like, am I in trouble? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I can talk about that more on What's Up, though. So, with that, though, we're going to move on. This next one comes from the engineer. I'm into spoilers. Good day, both Lucky and Omega. Why'd you put the good day in your alias? Question. Based on the sanitary emergency of last year, based on banners and events.
Last year?
What part of the year in terms of content do you think were the most affected? Outright singing the best ways your way and kind regards. Oh,
everything
definitely.
produced from March of 2020 until now, and also for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like it definitely started spring 2020. I don't know if it's actually necessarily stopped.
Yeah, I don't know how things are going right now. Hopefully everybody. I know a lot of people are pushing for vaccination for once. It's working most places. We're getting there. Spreading out, but yeah, I don't know. Like for us, I think it actually works out to NA's benefit because we usually have a content crunch problem, right? Because our anniversary is a month earlier. That usually means there's like 2 or 3 events they need to push up and get out of the way, which makes things very tight usually. For us, we probably won't have as much tightness. They'll be able to pace those events out much better to have them occur before our anniversary and still fill the gaps where there's downtime. We may or may not also get, tricklings of other stuff to fill the content. Because, eventually we're going to release some fucking Camelot movies and a Solomon movie and some other shit. They'll probably use some of the banners for the Babylonia the stage at some point in the next year or so. Yeah. So, there'll probably be some other stuff. I think we'll be okay. If we are not okay, it will be the post-anniversary loosey-goosey period where there's not any incentive of them to push up events.
But Omega said everything I need for that, so I'm gonna move on. Thank you very much, and kind regards to you as well. This next one comes from Shin of the High Shin Unit. I don't know if that's a reference to something, but unfortunately, I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's gotta be a reference to something.
I apologize that I don't know everything in the fucking universe. Heck, that's a lot. It's a lot of universe, y'all. It's a lot.
Well, Robin exploded. So, it is now 120% a reference. Oh shit, it's the kingdom. Fuck. You can go look it up. You can look up the mailbag. It's public. Rob's gonna write a time code, just be like, "Hoobst."
Anyway, they say, is there a chance they could do a UA rework in FGO like Arknights? And if it was, how would you change the UI? I mean, technically, they just changed the UI with adding like a few buttons here and there and whatnot. That's the UI change.
They do small UI stuff all the time. I don't know anything about Arknight's actual UI overhaul. I suspect FGO could do something, but
yeah, maybe we want to change like visuals and whatnot and stuff. No, but honestly, as is, I think the FGO UI is fairly functional. Fairly, it gets me where I need to be, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any necessary ideas of how I would change it. I have more ideas on things I would add because there's plenty of things I want to add.
Yeah, I would not necessarily rebuild the UI. I would definitely want to tune how some stuff looks here and there. Small adjustments. sizing, framing, stuff like that.
Well, thank you very much for that. We will move on. This next one comes from Struggling with Time Management, Suna, who says, "Howdy, Isekai Protag Lucky and potentially evil scientist Omega. I was wondering if there is a servant you are ashamed you haven't leveled yet. I constantly have my first SSR, Nightingale, staring at me as she sits at level 66. Not 69, how dare. May you be blessed by the wiggle. Go."
No, I feel no shame.
No, not ever. Okay, I think the only shame that I did have was my MP5 Artoria. That was level 1. That mocked me. That literally mocked me. I fixed that problem though. So no, I'm good. Pretty sure I have like I think I have several like not several, but a few NP4 level 1 servants that are like SSRs, but I'm like, I don't care. It's not NP5. What? We move on. This next one comes from a yes, swiftly. This next one comes from a guy from Lost Belt 4 that thinks Lucky Scooter must be fixed by now, right? That is wrong.
Well, he may be in the past, so who knows?
Well, I actually figured out something. I just realized I had a moment of clarity when I was messing with my scooter earlier. That the tire that's separated from the wheel meant it was attached to the wheel, which means I can't just buy a fucking spare wheel. I would have to buy a whole fucking spare back piece. I'm just like, wait a minute. So actually tomorrow I'm gonna go take it into a bike shop and be all like, "Is there someone, please someone help me with my electric scooter?
It's environmentally friendly, please.
Someone, please take pity on me and my small child." I'm just gonna, hold it, cradle in my arms. It's gonna be very heavy. But no, I gotta go. Because unfortunately, while we are in a society of, much more like small commuter vehicles, like electric bikes and scooters, we haven't necessarily hit the full saturation points of places that will work on them. Like, usually the best you can find in your local area is maybe some place that works on, like, full scooters, zipping down, like, on the actual road lane, going, like, anywhere between, like, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Not, like the two-wheel one that I have. But I know where there's an electric bike shop, and I'm hoping that's close enough.
I mean, it's a one-man electronic motor vehicle.
Yeah.
Surely there's got to be some skill overlap, guys. There's not like a secret double union thing, Actually, that could be. I don't know. This could be like the fucking McDonald's. This could be like the fucking McDonald's ice cream machines. Which, if you didn't hear, the Federal Trade Commission launched an investigation into because McDonald's ice cream machines are in fact always broken, and they are broken because apparently only one company can service them, and employees at your McDonald's franchise are not allowed. And so the Trade Commission was like, "Yo, is this a fucking monopoly on ice cream machines? What the fuck?" We'll see how that one turns out.
What to say? Hello, Loki and Omega. How have you been this week? Anyway, got nothing but a thought. I hope you have many of those.
I get you a thought. Sorry, I keep getting slightly distracted. I didn't realize it until we'd already started doing the show. There's apparently a Discord update waiting, so there's just this, every time I flick over to look at my Discord monitor, there's just that green arrow in the upper corner glaring at me. I'm just like, no, not yet.
It's vibrating. It's just vibrating.
Shh.
Oh.
Later.
Let's see here. This next one comes from Watting. For the extra tax meta time to shine.
You know what you did wrong.
In an effort to... wrong one. Hey there, Keeper of Knowledge, Omega, and Commas, Thighs, and Lives, Lucky. This is correct. I hope you're all having a good time. My question this week is, what are some of your favorite music tracks from FGO? I've really been digging LB6 Final Boss theme myself. I have nothing besides that, so bye for now. I wish you all well in your prep and farming if you guys are doing the Oniland raids. Don't you start playing fucking dual games in the fucking Patreon chat. I'll end both of you. Now,
if you want to get that content, people at home, please go watch Progression this week. Holy shit, it was so good. Like, for realsies, watch it. It's amazing. Like you won't get that joke.
He's gonna keep deleting Robin now. That's all he is.
Delete Robin.
Just delete Robin.
Robin is deleted.
So...
Anyway, was it the end of a question or beginning of a question? Beginning, that's right. Somebody had two typos in their alias. How dare.
Yes. How dare. So, favorite tracks. I do have a few. There are times I constantly jam out to Venus Racer. It's so good. It's so fucking good. It's the battle theme to Summer 2. Of course, Snowflake Shield is a classic. I cry every time. I
Grand
Advent
battle
1.
themes are usually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I'm also personally very fond of tree battles, tree rave.
Oh yes, Tree Rave. Fucking Shishi Wong's theme. That shit's metal. It's not metal.
I can't remember what it's called. It's like The Only Human or something.
Yeah.
I also will just open up my I paid Mats for that, and I will just open up the song player and play that one. Another one I do that with is I like the Lord Camelot theme, but it's very short. It's basically a different version of the main theme, which is good. It's not technically an FGO theme, but I think it's Spinal Coaster 3. It's basically Melt's leitmotif.
Oh yeah.
The climax of CCC. That's just, somebody going fucking apeshit on the piano.
I have literally bought all of the CCC tracks on Serap's tracks, I should say.
Yeah,
on
is pretty good.
On the thing. Oh yes, I also do have Unlimited Alloyed Works.
Yeah, that's a very good remix.
No, like I wouldn't say that necessarily like FGO music is the fucking best, but it got a lot of fucking good tracks in there. God, it's so good.
FGO has the advantage of having literally like 15 years of backlog of compositions to draw on, and composers and stuff like that, plus the power of gacha money to make good music. It's been forever, but there were some really sick boss tracks in Babylonia. Gorgon's boss battle theme is still pretty epic to me.
It's not technically the FGO game, but the fucking main track in Babylonia is still one of my favorites, though, I think.
Oh yeah, the Babylonia OST is also fucking...
Man, when are we getting that Solomon movie, yo?
Yeah.
I bet the music in there is going to be fucking crazy.
I bet it is.
Sorry, I'm just... Lucky's mad in Fate-related contact we don't have right now. And the list is only growing. It's only fucking growing. We're missing both Camelot movies. We're missing the Solomon movie, and we don't have Fate Grand Carnival yet. None of it. It's just out there, mocking me.
Yeah, just hanging out menacingly.
He just laughs at me with a high pitched grin. I'm just like, Oh, and the Prisma movie. I did forget about that. Yes,
that at least only came out like a couple of weeks ago. Like I don't even know if that's on home media in Japan yet.
So, with that though, we're gonna move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from the reading reader who reads Revengeance. You see, if you had just taken your username, your actual name. If you had just taken out the and the who, you'd have just had perfect alliteration. You don't need all those.
Actually, you literally don't need those articles. Who needs pronouns? Reading reader reads Revengeance. Boom.
It's great. Listen, Lucky loves alliteration. I try to alliterate whenever I can. But usually only when I'm typing. It's hard for me to do when I'm actually speaking because I actually have to think through my vocabulary. I have a decent vocabulary. It's just I actually have to think on it.
That's a whole, Suna brought up about light novels and manga not being translated. That's a whole different kettle of fish, but also, yes. Case files, please.
Actually,
you have a sequel.
Actually, Omega, is your profile pic Ocho?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of the few good screen grabs I can find. Yes. This is from concept art, I think, but this is a blow-up of Imperial Ocho.
Okay.
I had to zoom this in, twice to get this look, but yeah.
Okay, I had to, I saw it, because I saw your Sabersmith, and I was all like, oh, okay, I get it. Then I was like, wait a minute.
I decided it was time for a change. The Jugo Magical Scientist was over. Only Star Wars Visions now. Tune into What's Up. What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about this person's almost perfect alliteration. I should not read what they had to say. And they say, in an effort to find something to read, I've decided to go through all the logs of all of FGO. This includes the chapters, lost spells, events, and interludes. I cannot be satisfied as insane. I know Lucky has reread Babylonia, but my question is this. Would you ever reread the whole main story of FGO? If it was novelized, how many books would it take? And would you read them? Hope you had a good weekend and looking forward to the return of Elizabeth's Japan. P.S. Send help with more books.
I mean, that's the thing. I ran out of reading material, so I'm rereading FGO. You're not trying hard enough. But would I reread FGO again? Probably. I mean, I can. It's a little inconvenient to tab through literally every sequence of events. But
I reread fairly often, whether it's just see, the thing, I wouldn't sit down and do it bit by bit every day, but just anytime something catches my fancy, I'll go back and reread Seraph, or I'll go reread Babylonia, Solomon. The super early stuff, nah, I'm good, fam. I'm fucking good. I really don't need to reread Orleans or Septum. I really don't. You know,
I mean, and
but
there's a manga for that, which is probably better as well. There's like action in it and stuff.
Yeah, but I do find myself going back to interludes a lot, because that's where all the jokes be at. That's where they be happening. But if they're gonna be take a book off, I don't fucking know. Like, here's the thing: you got to remember, they will not just literally copy the text from the game and put it in a book. No, they'd be an adaptation because they would have to add, things like nouns, nouns, transitions, all that stuff. So this already wordy wordy thing would get even wordier.
Yeah, the question of how many books would it take is yes, because I think Nasu already said, how many fucking words is? Usually it's text file sizes, so I don't know for sure. But it's big. Like, Babylon and Camelot are fucking huge. Not even counting for Lost Belt shit, which is like coming out in parts. Like, they're fucking enormous. Okay.
Okay.
And then if you had to novelize them, which means you would have to, describe actions, activities, everything that is shown on screen, you would have to describe, because there's no verbiage for that in the text. Also, I mean, let's be real, it would be shitty, so you'd have to rewrite a lot of it, because you'd have to add, like, internal monologues and, like, descriptions of why people do stuff for what reasons. You would have to figure out what dialogue trees to pick. It would be huge. Would I read it? Possibly. But also, that would be a lot of text. I could just read FGO again, and it would be less text.
Less text.
In the middle of our text.
Our text. Sorry, I got distracted by Twitter.
That happens.
Anyway, Lucky has no problem with getting more books. I have a problem with getting more shelf space. I literally got... Let's see here. What light novels did I order this week? I picked up Trapped in a Dating Sim, Life of Mobs is Hard, and Otome Games, Volume 3. It's one of those thick books. It's like over 500 pages. I'm like, this is a big book. I demolished it in a night. And I have So, fun fact, I think anyone who's seen me around anime manga or, hearing me talking about anime has heard me talk about 86 and how it's been, physically impossible for me to get a fucking copy of Volume 4. I was finally able to get a copy of Volume 4, and when I did it, I immediately, in a moment of clear and utter insanity, decided to order every other single book so I did not have this problem fucking again. It's like, all of them, give. And now they're all trickling to me, so I'm going to have to figure out a space for, 5 more books? I'm like, okay, man, I gotta downsize a little bit. Or I have to fucking actually go build the library me and my friend are planning on doing. We are slowly remodeling our house. We are going for the theme, nerds, but classy. Also, I'm trying to convince my dude to put as much Japanese shit into this house as possible. I was like, we do not need a heated bathtub. I was like, yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm. That is certainly a look. It's really a little far away from my microphone.
So, with that though, that's enough faffing around. I'm gonna move on. This next one comes from Omelette du Fromage. I missed Doctor's Lab. They say, greetings guys, I didn't get the post last week, so I'll mention now that I managed to open 51 boxes and cleared all my challenge quests. Nice, you were powerful. I have forgotten how nightmarish some of them were, especially Heroine X Alter. Mm-hmm. Anyway, on to my question. I recently watched Fake Khalid, and was curious if Mii's universe would count as a lost spell, considering it's a dying timeline and all. Also, ripped Lucky's wallet in 2 years. I'll light some incense. It is technically not a lost spell, because it's technically not been cut off yet. You can still get to it.
Yes, it has not been pruned, and may not be pruned, because there are actually quite a lot of timelines where the Earth runs out of mana and kind of magically dies. It's a pretty frequent thing with Natsu. That's literally what Earth is like in Extra. That's why we're fucking around on the moon.
Nasu really likes suffering. I do not know why.
Nasu's interesting. He likes a lot of, I think he likes a lot of dark existential concepts like magic is slowly dying or space will fuck your shit up. But also, he's not so, unrepentantly grimdark murdery as, early Urobuchi stuff, right?
I don't know, man. Okay, to be fair, I guess this is fair. This is fucking early-ass, Tsukihime, which was, 2001?
2000.
And, no, does any... 2000?
Yeah.
Who has a happy end in that story? Whomst?
Well, there's several of the heroines have good ends, but you are correct. The true end is usually the one which is depressing and ambiguous. This is probably why fan ends and the fan disc ends and the epilogues and stuff is usually more popular.
This is why I'm like super okay with Nasu being like, no, I'm just gonna remake this. I'm like, yes, I do not want to play this super dark game. It's like I got through like 1.5 routes. I'm all like, this is still pretty dark, and then I find out because I only recently looked this up that the fucking far side's even worse. I'm just like, why?
Yep.
Why is everyone getting molested? Stop it, Mert. What? No.
It was I think Tsukihime is very much a product of its time, right? It was first published in winter of 2000. You know, Nasu's just come off Kara no Kyokai, which was published from like 98 to 99 in volumes. So, which Kara no Kyokai is not without its own weird dark stuff, but it
ends on a more positive note, at least.
Yeah, a lot of its chapters usually end with something positive, and also I would say a decent number of them are much more like I talked about, like his like existential dread, like classic J-horror stuff rather than perfectly normal mundane horror.
Well, yeah, but
because even in the one where mundane stuff happens is like Fujino has a sexual assault backstory, but she pretzels all those guys. So
yeah, well that's the great thing, you know. Like you get that immediate catharsis of like there's something bad to happen, but immediate revenge.
Yeah, they just get crushed.
What was I?
And like they kind of want you to feel bad for them, but you really don't.
You really
Unless
don't.
She murdered some dudes. Who cares?
Mm.
They
but
were
no,
scumbags.
like I can understand it with Kara no Kyokai because as well as I understand it, a lot of the inspiration for Kara no Kyokai came from Boogie Pop Phantom, which had came out a few years ago, and Nasu read that and was like, I am inspired.
Yeah.
And Boogie Pop Phantom definitely also has those same kind of modern horror kind of tropes.
But like
2000,
we talked about this I think on a WhatsApp talking about the like emo phase of music, right? Like
oh yeah.
In the early 2000s, there was a lot of, like, angst and existential dread and darkness for no reason. Like, it was not quite the 90s grim derp type, look how dark and gritty everything is. Bitches and whores. I'm Frank Miller, blah. Like, we moved out of that, but we still were like, but being dark is cool. That's realistic. Everything should be, like, dark and traumatic. And then we realized, oh, wait, shit, that sucks, actually. Wait, real life is dark and traumatic. Fuck, oh no.
Our hubris! Oh, that's Lucky's catchphrase, and I was just yelling about hubris. Mm-hmm. But, oh man, where was I even going on this? We were talking about fucking Lost Belts and Dark Timelines.
Yeah, we were talking about whether or not Mia's universe counts as a Lost Belt. And I don't think it does because, like I said, there are world lines that are not pruned that have the same problem that her universe does. So I don't think it's actually very likely to be a Lost Belt. It's just kind of a shitty timeline.
Yeah, no, Lucky lost the track. That's how Lucky do. Yep. Oh no, my hubris. But as I put myself in the shame cube, we're gonna move on. Hang on. Where is... There it is. Bam! Done.
And if Lucky hadn't ruined his comedic timing by hunting so long for that GIF, this would be a perfect follow-up.
Ah!
But I made the joke live again by reminding you.
But this next one comes from Alias Zed, coming to you from the shame list. Just Zed. Yeah, he's actually on the list. I made a sticky note. I put his name on it. He has an X by his name. Well, an extra X, I suppose. He gets 2 more. He's done. I'm going to destroy him. How? You guys don't want to know.
3 strikes and you're out.
No, Robin, you're just on the Gremlin list, in which you'll never get off of.
Robin doesn't want to get off the Gremlin list. He lives here. He made his home here. He bought property here.
Clearly, that means I should tax him and actually try and get something out of this relationship.
He's got a 10-year lease on the Gremlin list. The person who submitted this question. They're on the shame list.
What they say. Comment. Summer Charlotte, smile protected. No questioning this week. Just sending well wishes. Look, I hope that things are going well with Scooter and Meg. I hope you enjoy the... Wait, how do you pronounce this? Xyz?
Yeah, Xyz.
Xyz era of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Localization. Everybody thought it would be Exceed when the subs came out, but they translated it as Xyz, spelled XYZ. Hold on, actually, we can continue the next one, but I need to show Lucky something else from Yu-Gi-Oh! Localization.
What?
I gotta show you what we have to deal with over here in this hobby.
See, the thing is like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fucking get the Scooter fix. I'm gonna write it for a week, and then I'm gonna crash again. And I'm gonna go have to deal with this problem all over again.
Like, Lucky, look at this name. Look at this name that we have to deal with. Fluwandereeze and Empin.
Fluwandereeze and Empin. That is a name.
Oh, and that
yes.
and that fluanderies, because people can see from that top line of text. That's the important one. That's the one that all of them are called. So that's the one that we have to reference constantly, and you need to say.
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, apparently I dropped some Yu-Gi-Oh cards while listing them at one point because I found a couple on the floor. I now have a fucking holographic copy of Graceful Charity. I'm just gonna throw it at people. Be like, duel, and then run away.
Wait, that's illegal.
Actually, there was 2 cards, but I can't remember the fucking name of the. I can't remember the fucking name of the other one. It was some sort of dragon, but they're hanging out on my desk now because I'm not sure what to do with them.
There's a lot of dragons. Anyway, this person did not offer a question. They just had a comment, which we did. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, we move on. So, this next one comes from Melusine is Endgame. They say, good afternoon, fellow masters. Do you think that the Space Chase Star Band will drop around the 14th of next month, given Oniland ends on the 7th? P.S. Start saving now to max out Fey Night Boys.
Is the incorrect use of boys? What is with people in the apostrophe S today? Is this an autocorrect thing? Does Google not know how to use apostrophe S?
Probably.
Entirely possible. It's true. I do know that Google Docs doesn't understand how I use fucking quotations for everything. It always wants me to add extra spaces or turn them into two apostrophes, not a quote marks. Yes, Robin, I am aware. It makes no sense. But as for the banner question, I do think that is the general theory about the 14th because I think there's still something we need to do that's in the gap. Was there an interlude campaign or something? I'd have to double check.
I know there's an interlude campaign around this time next, going to be around this time next year. Because it has the comma interlude on it, and I want it.
Oh, right. There's a pre-release, duh. Yeah, that's what it was. There has to be a pre-release announcement first. So, yeah, they could do it a full week, or they could not. I don't actually know what the rest of our... No. Isn't it the other way around? It's MHX on the pre-release. A is on the Part 2 banner. Stop confusing poor Lucky's wallet.
You guys are killing me.
I'm pretty sure XA is after Space Ishtar. And it's MHX on the first one. So everybody can ignore the pre-release banner. Because I fucking can be too... Anyway. I warble garble myself in single target assassins. But no, yeah, so there'll be a pre-release. I don't know if it'll be the full week. I'd have to double check what our whole schedule is for the rest of the year, if they need to scooch stuff up. I don't think we really do though. But yeah, so 14th is as good a guess as anybody.
So, with that though, we shall move on. This next one comes from Chairman from the Department of Mysteries.
I can't help you, Lucky. I'm not nearly Saxon enough for this.
I'm not being quiet because I don't want to read. I'm being quiet because this person has put some characters that I can't comprehend. Hang on, just look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna post it in Patreon chat. Look at this shit.
Yeah, so the umlaut O is double O. I think the AE is actually AE. It's the weird Ouroboros Ds that I do not fucking know.
I can't
do not remember what that does. What the fuck letter?
Listen, guys, I have a hard enough time with just regular ass English. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
I mean, I can't help but suspect, based on this question, that this person is being a gremlin to us.
All right, well, okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna ignore this bit because I literally can't. I literally can't. But they say, "Hello, Lucky and Omega. You seem to dislike fanfiction quiet a lot. I, on the fan found I could enjoy them, sometimes more than the original materia. I don't like everything, obviously. I obviously hate OP protags, non-comedy herodoms, and character bashing. But may I ask why you detest fanfiction or aspects of it?"
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we like to call a leading question. Lucky, show them what they've won.
Oh, my utter and immediate dislike of them. But I will answer your question. Why do I not like fanfiction or such things of it? Because they're literally unoriginal. Fanfictions are taking the creative works of someone else, adding your own flair to it, and then selling it as your own. You can try and dress this up any way you want to, but that is literally what you are doing. Instead, you could have literally taken the same content, made your own characters and stories for them, and given the exact same product. But you didn't.
And in fact, some people have done that. See 50 Shades of Grey. We just took all the copyrighted bits out of it and made it original and made money.
Yes. So no, when I see fanfiction, I do apply the work people do, but I also know that you're also just being fucking lazy. My friend has been reading fanfiction recently, and there's all interesting stories, except they keep borrowing from other settings and premise, so they don't have to do any of the fucking bother of writing them themselves. God, what was it? There's this one that my friend was telling me about. God, he's been reading so many Harry Potter fanfics and whatnot, but there's this one where an old man dies, and gets reincarnated as an agent of God. And then guess what? He's going around to various game worlds and fucking movie things, just going doing his thing. I'm all like, okay, I was super sold on this story until you told me we're just walking into fucking pre-established settings. I'm like, why? Why can't you do something original, people? Please.
Yeah, the weird that's always, like, that's the thing that gets me. Like, I think, honestly, like, once again, this is why I call this a leading question. Lucky, I think, is much more on the disliking side. Me, I mostly don't care, because, guys, I don't have time in my life to appreciate all the creative content that is professional quality and that other people are willing to pay money to get. God forbid what people are doing in their free time without editing. Like, I don't hate fanfiction. I will occasionally still read fanfiction if it's recommended to me and it has a really interesting premise that I like. I think the most interesting kinds of fanfiction are usually continuations where the original creators, for whatever reason, had more stuff they could do and didn't. So that's sometimes interesting. That's sometimes also stupid because people mostly use it to go back and finish stuff. I mean, you could joke about Boruto. That is kind of how that works. At least they got the original guy to, like, do the character concepts and sketching. And I mean, we can go at it for that angle. It's not like they're necessarily some, like, corporatized sequels that are any better than fanfiction anyway.
No.
But for the most part, I just don't have time, and a lot of them are just the same like, fanfiction has developed its own genre tropes and cliches, and I don't understand them and don't care to. Why does everybody have to go to a coffee shop? Just write your own original characters who have the same personality tropes as those other people and write your coffee shop then. What, are you afraid people aren't going to read you? Well, welcome to everybody writing stuff creatively. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll say this. I am a shameless repurposer of ideas.
Yeah.
But at least I like to say that I do repurpose ideas. Like, when I make something, it is not just one influence. It is a lot of influences, When I wrote Mages of War, like, yeah, I watched Saga of Tanya and was like, that's fucking sick. I want to do my own thing with this. But I did that by borrowing elements of so many other things. Like, I took the types of stories and the concepts of fiction that I liked from many, many other things and all bolted them together into a semi-comprehensive whole that does things.
I mean, we played, 50 sessions of that fucking game. I think it's pretty comprehensive. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, you established your own original setting. You literally researched and created a bunch of country names. You gave them all, like, interesting little facts. You didn't really necessarily do a lot on the history, but listen, you're not going to do that for a fucking whole World War. That's wild. That's too much.
I tried to do the timeline thing. It was a huge slog. I need to, like, if I ever polish that off, I need to, like, completely reapproach that project, but yes.
Yeah, but no, you put in a lot of work to making it your own. You didn't just have a modern die and all of a sudden wake up in the world of the Ren and then just go do everything in that story the way they would have done it. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, I understand that a lot of isekai and whatnot is a bunch of wish fulfillment, but there's a difference between, I think, blatant, I think I can do it better kind of wish fulfillment and the way I want to do it, and just, casual wish fulfillment or something like that.
Also, guys, I gotta be real. If you're sticking to fanfiction, you can do so much more, because so much of fiction that's original is just, you see somebody else write something and you're like, I don't like how you did it. I'm going to do it better. But for legal reasons, I'm going to change around all the characters and the names, and maybe I'll edit the characters so they fit them. Like, it's, like you said, I think a lot of fanfiction is kind of lazy, and I know some, I don't want to sell everybody short. Like, yeah, there is some really well-written fanfiction out there that, like, really, like, these authors are, professional quality, and they approach their hypothetical situations very well. I've read some of them. They're pretty good. But 90% of everything is crap, and as a genre, a media?
I call it a media.
Let's go with a medium. There's a lot of flack that I don't like. And also, well, actually, no, Lucky had something in there. I won't add a new point until Lucky said his point on that last point.
So, the point is here is, like, do not, I want to stress this for people. Do not think that my dislike of fanfiction is something against you and you should not write it and whatnot. If you want to write, fucking write. Like I said, everyone's got to get started somewhere and everyone's got to do something, and sometimes you want to get an idea and get it out. Just don't bring it to me. Just don't bring it to me. That's
okay, never mind. Lucky got my point anyway. That's what I was going to say, actually. One of the few times that happens in that direction. No, I was just going to talk about how, Guys, don't conflate our weird parasocial relationship with the fact that we don't care about fanfiction, whether you write it or read it, to be like, fanfiction is bad. It's just not for us. We are busy people with our own preferences in media, and we're doing our own things. Guys, I'm so glad we have so much to talk about with Nintendo Direct and Visions, because I still haven't started Deathloop. Because, oh boy, Skyward Sword.
Usually it's you say what I was going to say, and I'm just like, no, you got it. Wild.
Yeah, no. That's very funny, because I deliberately was like, oh wait, Lucky was going to say something. Hold on. I won't start a new point, and then your new point was my point. I was like, oh, neat.
So, yeah, that's why I don't like fanfiction. Like, listen, I consider myself a writer. I can write. I've read things. Shit, I wrote a little short blurb for our Star Wars game that I just posted in our fucking, in our Star Wars chat, and people were like, oh, neat. But, like, where was I going with that? I got distracted by me talking about my own stuff. God fucking damn it. But, and so I understand, the struggles and the one's desires. So, at the end of the day, you do you. But just remember, if you do you and you try to get me involved, I might smack you. Is there only 7 stories or something?
I don't know about that. There's definitely some, like, only X number of stories in the Matrix.
Anyway, I think we have said enough on that. So, now you know. I hope it was worth it.
Speaking of writing, that reminded me, I never talked about this. I think I literally got distracted by something and was like I got an idea in my head and I was just like, oh yeah, margin notes. And I wrote this little bit of literal marginalia. Like, in speaking of Mages of War, hypothetically, when the book is printed, like, this would be like a page insert somewhere in the margin notes. Because fluff. Also, hey, is that a Bayonetta? I'm going to retweet that. Fluff is fun, guys.
I do love fluff. Alright, so where were we?
We have 3 left.
So, I bet this is probably going to get us the most dislikes when people finally get to me about fanfiction, because I know there's a lot of people around here who actually do like fanfiction.
But that was our point, Lucky. The fact that you don't care about fanfiction and I don't care about fanfiction doesn't mean they can't like fanfiction. It just means we don't want to talk about it. Talk about it in your free time.
No, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that.
Ah, well, we said it as plainly as we can.
Anyway, this next one comes from a warlock prepping to raid the Glass Vault. I have heard some people doing some of the Destiny.
It reminds me, I need to find if there's like a... Actually, did they port Destiny to PS5? I know base Destiny 2 is free to play. I need all the expansions, though. I might just buy me some season passes. That would have to be like a microfiction, Robin.
And I will destroy you.
I wouldn't notice. I
do have admin level powers here. I just don't abuse them. I will, Robin. I fucking will.
Please don't do that. Robin's in my tournament. I need him for content.
No.
I don't know how that's relevant right now.
I think he's irrelevant to me, like, declaring my absolute power and whatnot.
Diaz Kare.
Greetings, Pilgrim Goward. Sorry, they spelled it with a G-A-U-R-D, so I'm just like, Goward. Goward. Pilgrim Goward. Lucky. And, what is this? Thanatonot? Thanatonot. I'm gonna say Thanatonot. I don't actually know what that is.
It's like an astronaut, but for death. Thanatos.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's a reference to Destiny. I think there's like a Guardian sub-faction who are like that. Because, Guardians respawn all the time.
Yep. I've come to wish you well this week and leave referential nicknames again. I'm pretty sure they're Destiny. Oh, Robin says they're warlocks.
Yeah, so me.
The nerds. Actually, what did I play when I
Warlock
played Destiny?
Best Lock.
I didn't play a Warlock. I can't
Hunter,
remember.
I think?
I played. Probably, yeah, Hunter. It was Hunter. I played Hunter.
Hunter, sneaky, breaky, shooty. And Titans are for jocks who are dumb. Dumb jocks. What are you doing there? Not getting hit? Too bad. I'm immortal, bitch.
Now I must continue to prep slay the conflicts of time. Wait, no, there's no I in there. It's tum. The conflicts of tum. I'll see you, Starside. Probably not me. God, I haven't played. I played Destiny 2 when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool, this is fun and stuff. Then I got to the end. I'm all like, oh no, I need friends. Guess what? I don't have friends who play Destiny 2.
When you're waiting for expansions, you need friends for bullshit. And I don't like that you can't like matchmake the raids. I get what they're going for, Destiny game design wise. I just never cared for it. I'm the same way. I'm waiting for the PS5, Destiny 2 Game of the Year edition with all the DLCs. I'll do it. But before we move on from this, I'll just remind our good warlock friend that Guardians make their own fate.
Oh shit! Speaking of, my packages have arrived. I'll go pick them up in a second.
We have 2 left. Trust me, Lucky, you will have plenty of time to go get your packages when I do the next segment. I'm gonna be here for a little bit.
Sorry, I just read this. I just while you were doing that prep, read like, oh my god, this person
Yeah,
does
this is
not
a
watch
funny one.
What's
I
Up.
remember reading this one. Let's do it.
All right. So the next one comes from a notorious Stan. Greetings, no questions this time, just well wishes. Didn't you? Wait, no, you actually answered this like fucking last What's Up when I talked about fucking Hathaway's Flash. Or Hathaway, as
Yes,
it is
I also think I mentioned it whenever time we talked about Gundam in the middle of Let's Talk, which was probably that Let's Talk, because we were still talking about Hathaway. No, I haven't watched it yet. I've been busy.
Yeah. Recommendation. Omega, if you want to get into the Gundam franchise, I suggest Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. You don't need any prior knowledge to start. It is free on the official YouTube channel, Gundam Info. Reminder, Spacious Star needs 45 extra skills, and Castle Artillery needs 33 for skills. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Omega has literally...
So the funny thing is, one question about Gundam, I explicitly said IBO is the only series I've ever seen. I did not know that thing about the free thing on the official YouTube channel. That's cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, I already watched all that series. Both seasons?
Oh.
I guess it's technically seasons.
Yeah, it's 2 seasons. But,
So
yeah,
thank you for the laugh. Enjoy your weekend, sir. Or
yeah,
ma'am.
no, I think I've watched a fair amount of Gundam. Like I say, I've watched Mobile Suit Gundam, 0083, 8th MS Team, Wing, Seed Destiny, Narrative, Hathaway, G Gundam. What else have I watched? Actually, I've watched a fair amount of Gundam. Not like all of it. Jesus fucking Christ. I was actually looking this earlier because I was like, Hathaway got me in the fucking mood. I was like, I need to watch some shit. Then I was looking at the thing. I'm all like, there's a lot of shit. So I'm just like, I'm gonna have to reorganize this another day. Woo! Tonikaku. That is that. We're gonna move on to the last one, which is Sencho is love. Sencho is life. They say, ahoy! Do you remember? No, I don't. Mailbag over.
Smash! It's like a mic drop, but we drop the bag of mail. You're crushed.
All right, I'm gonna get my books. I'll be right back.
All right, Lucky's gonna go get his books. I'm gonna literally pause the audio and get up and go walk around because we've been here for an hour and a half. Intermission. Let us resume.
Ready.
We're back. All right. Lucky had IRL mailbag, but we're back now.
I got a lot of books.
It happens. Okay, so we have no free talk at all today. I mean, hypothetically, we could do like Oniland rerun thoughts, but it's an episodic time gate, so there's not a lot to talk about. Yeah, the first couple episodes happened. You had to punch some Onis. Wild, isn't it? So,
sure point. I appreciate having MOB CEs right out the gate.
Yes, correct.
I will say that.
That's great. Being able to rerun the rerun, amazing. I love it. I've got MOB of everything. That's great. But yes, that means it is time to move swiftly on because we brought back for a limited engagement to try and get people interested in the Patreon. And remember, you can join us at patreon.com/StudioMegaYT. Link in our description on our channel page. At the 5 and up level, you get access to topic polls like this one. And you could influence the next one we do, which will be about stuff and things. I'll figure out exactly what's on it. Nobody gives me good ideas for these anymore. But who knows, they might. At the very least, I bet Melty Blood will have a lot of, what do we think? Mind share, I guess, when we move into the next month. But what people want me to explain this week, and I think it makes sense with the Tsukihime remake having come out and having some fake cameos in it, though this one is much more focused on the OG Tsukihime because remake's not really that far out. It happened very, very recently, and it's big and full of text, which is in Moonrune. So, if you want,
localization is going to take a while.
Yeah, if you want details on like what all those new things are, that's a whole separate question. But I think we can summarize the original and kind of talk about how stuff is explained, which is what people wanted. So we're going to begin. This is entitled, okay, I'm going to try and summarize Tsukihime and how it's connected to other stuff. So, to begin with, Tsukihime is originally a visual novel released by Type Moon in December of the year 2000. It is their first official company product. So it was their first release. Nasu and Sakuichi were already working together on Karno Kokai, which came out a couple years earlier, but this was their first group as the Dojin Circle, Type Moon. Yes, it was an eroge. The original is erotic game, as they call it. It was released at Winter Comcat, so I guess that's just what the market was. And yeah, no, this was started as a Dojin game. It was released at Dojin Circles. I think the first beta actually came out early on like 3.5 floppy disks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wild. But it was pretty popular, so it kind of exploded, gave them some room to do some follow-up stuff later. So it's a pretty deep touchstone for Type Moon as a company, even if I think Fate-type stuff has overtaken it overall.
Don't forget your roots.
By the way, the name of this segment actually comes from Tsukihime. Teach Me Seal Sensei is Tsukihime's version of Taiga Dojo when you get a bad end. So when you die in Tsukihime, Seal shows up to tell you what you done fucked up. And this just works out. Shout out to our audience for recommending this for us. Also, despite what Tsukihime fans may try to say, there was actually an anime adaptation in 2003, which was bad, which is why nobody wants to talk about it. And there was a manga adaptation that ran from 2003 to 2010, which is considered better. I know a lot of people like to say there is no Tsukihime anime, but it was literally nearly 20 years ago, people. There are people who are asking you that question who weren't alive, so they don't know. Just to throw that out there. That's how long ago that was. There are people who were born at the same day Tsukihime came out who can drink now. Okay? Alright. Just to put this in perspective, it's been a while. Now, the remake has been planned since like 2008. I think I brought this up earlier. It's only just now come out, and it's only maybe half of it. It's only got the near side route content. But also, it's like 45 hours of gameplay and has 3 times as much music. Jesus Christ. That's 3 times as much music as the whole original, by the way. Not just like those 2 routes. No. The OST is like 3 times larger just on the first half. In case you didn't think Nasu was the busiest man in visual novels these days. Jesus Christ. Now, Tsukihime has many thematic similarities to Kara no Kyokai, which, if you forgot, was a light novel series Nasu wrote starting in 98. It was published for about a year, all the volumes. And the works are subtly connected, in the words of Nasu himself. I don't know how subtle it is, buddy, but if you say so. So to actually get into some of the story elements and kind of how it does all have those subtle connections, the original version of the story is set in the year 1999 in Misaki Town, a city in the Kanto region, which is presumably fictional, because there is an actual Misaki city, Misaki-cho, but it's in Osaka, which is a completely different province. We should also note that Misaki Town is the same city as where the private girls' school that Fujino attends in Kara no Kyokai is. It's related to the Alizaki family, so it's also the setting of Maho Tsukai. So it's got some lore connections there. Now our main character is Shiki Tono, who's similar to the other Shiki, but not that other Shiki or that other Shiki, and possibly that other Shiki. Nasu, what the fuck? Anyway, similar to the other Shiki, he possesses mystic eyes of death perception after an accident of some sort, but he requires special glasses to prevent himself from seeing the lines of death all the time, so he hides his power level with glasses, like a nerd. So, Shiki is a second-year high school student who returns to his family home after the head of family dies, kicking off the plot. So, ever since his accident, he's been living in exile somewhere else in Japan. His dad dies, he goes back home. At the insistence of his sister, Nakia, who is like, "Hello, I am head of family now. You will return." Cool. Great. By the way, if you're curious, Tono Shiki's Eyes of Death Perception rank below Ryogi Shiki's eyes. This Shiki has to develop his eye skills and concentrate on them to use them to their fullest. He requires the extra effort to do all the fun stuff that Shiki can do. And it also causes him physical strain, hence why he has to wear the glasses. If his eyes were on all the time, his brain would explode or something. That's probably a bad end. And Seal probably just tells you, shouldn't have used your eyes so much, dumbass. There, that's your lesson. Also, normally, Tono Shiki cannot kill concepts, while Ryogi Shiki can pretty effortlessly strike down ephemeral things like Magecraft, ESP, and the future. So, different levels. Nasu toned this one down for the new character. And of course, as you would expect from an absolute mad lad like Nasu, Tsukihime has 5 total routes, based on the heroine you pick, split into 2 areas. There's the near side route, that's Arcuid and Seal, who, by the way, I will be referring to the former as Arc from here on now, because I don't like this U-I-E vowel sound, Nasu. What the fuck? And also the far side, which is Akiha, Hisui, and Kohaku. Why, yes, I did say that Akiha was Shiki's sister, and she has a route. We'll come back to that. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in everything. Pins everywhere. The near side routes are accessible immediately, but you have to work to access the far side stuff. I think you have to, complete the game several times to get the Kohaku route, for instance, and stuff. It's kind of like how in Fate Stay Night you have to, you do every route in order.
If I remember correctly, for the Hisui, you have to do one of the near side, and then you specifically have to do you have to do Hisui's, and then that unlocks the Kohaku route.
Yeah, so there's some unlocking. You can't see all the stuff right away. Also, by the way, this isn't in my notes, but I will mention it later because I'm about to talk about it. Most of these routes have multiple endings. They usually have various bad ends you can encounter. They have a good end, which is good, and they have a true end, which is usually sad. That's right, the truth is sad, guys. Interestingly enough, Kohaku's route is the only one that just has one ending, which is probably good. I guess it needed it. Anyway.
Listen,
go ahead, Lucky. Sorry.
Kohaku needed some hugs, okay?
Yeah. So, I clasp my hands. I will now attempt to speed run you through the routes of Tsukihime in my own inimitable style. We start at the top. So in Ark's route, Shiki meets Ark on a moonlit night and stabs her a lot, and I guess she finds this cute because they team up to fight dead apostle ancestors and make kissy faces. And then they live happily ever after. Or don't, in the true end. That's it. It's really simple. He cuts Ark up into like 17 pieces, and she's like, "That's adorable. You want to hang out?"
And he's like, "No, but then, yes."
And Seal's route is basically the exact same as Ark's, only Shiki and Seal team up to fight dead apostles, but Shiki gets possessed by a vampire ghost and gets to be a real Byronic hero and possibly murder some people and rage about himself and all that stuff and make kissy faces with Seal, but the kissy faces don't work, so he has to stab himself or something. And also in the good end, Ark and Seal decide to share Shiki. They're not really happy about this. I don't know how Shiki feels. But yeah, you get to see as kind of our like existential crisis gets deeper and deeper each layer. Also, I hope you enjoyed how short those were, because the next ones are not. It takes me a while to explain.
Listen, I was remarking about this earlier. The near side is surprisingly simple to understand. It really is. Once you get to the far side, yeah, vampires bad. They're here. They're fucking up our town. We gotta do something about them. Then you get to the fucking far side, and you start figuring out what's actually going on. And no, it's not fucking simple, and it's bullshit, and I hate it.
Yeah, the way I said it is, with the far side especially, but starting with Akiha's route, we get much more personal and retrospective about like the backstory and stuff, and explaining everything and what the fuck is going on. So, starting there with Akiha, Shiki's childhood friends become a vampire. She becomes a vampire. Isn't it sad, Satsuki-chan? He has a rough time interacting with his sister, who also has a slight blood drinking problem. Only it turns out that Shiki is adopted, and the real bad guy is Shiki, in all caps. His name is exactly the same, because he's the original Tono heir, and he is also a vampire. So Shiki decides to make kissy faces with adopted sister, and she kills Shiki, in all caps. And then you have your choice of slightly sad ending as killing Shiki. She goes a bit demon mode, because she's like half demon and stuff, and it's very sad.
Very sad.
And then the twins' route's even more fuckled.
Oh, I hate this one so much. God.
So basically, Kohaku got to win our horrible childhood sexual trauma roulette in this story.
Oh,
and
why?
in the Hisui route, Hisui and Shiki make kissy faces, and then Kohaku kills all the other major Farside characters, and then herself, so kissy faces can continue. It's very sad. And then you can unlock Kohaku's route, where she decides to be less murder happy, and she makes kissy faces with Shiki, but Akiha still goes demon-y to kill Shiki, and prompts a confrontation, but Kohaku decides to forgive Akiha for the sins of her fathers, because it's really not her fucking fault. And everything is okay, because we're all just really fucked up, and we need some fucking therapy. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say that. That's kind of a spoiler. No, I'm not gonna say that bit. Like...
This is the speedrun version, okay?
Yeah.
But like, guys, damn, just... That's the true spoiler. Everybody just really needs some fucking therapy out here.
Yeah.
I bet even the vampires need therapy. Jesus Christ. One of them goes around writing his name Nvinsker, but it's supposed to be pronounced Nero Chaos. You know that guy has problems.
I mean, he has... Well, his problem is he literally has 666 beasts, and they all share a mind, kind of. He's veritably insane.
He does cameo, so I don't know, but I wouldn't trust her with therapy. It's dangerous. Danger therapy. But, yeah. Like, there's a lot of complex stuff, like talking about everybody's interrelationships. The twins route in particular is kind of affixed on a classic ism of these kinds of romance visual novels, where Shiki remembers that he had a relationship and promised a girl one thing, including he has a keepsake, but because the twins are twins, he doesn't remember which one is which, because they basically do the classic move where they switch personalities in the years he's been gone. This also isn't even getting into the other deep thing where I talked about how he's adopted. He has his own bullshit backstory, family bullshit, which isn't really relevant until it's relevant for plot excuses.
Listen, they needed a reason to give him cool super vampire fighting powers, okay?
Yeah.
That's literally all it is.
Yeah, it's complex. But also, to be fair, they needed an excuse so that you could make kissy faces with your adopted sister.
Also true.
Now, there was also originally a route for Satsuki, the childhood friend, but it was canceled. Parts of its details were used, I believe, for the setup for Melty Blood, which is a monstrous continuity thing on its own, and you'll have to hear about that another time. I am not getting into that one right now. Jiminy Crimbo. There's also an epilogue, and also the Kagetsu Toya fan disc, which is basically like the Tsukihime version of Hollow Ataraxia. I mean, Hollow Ataraxia came later, but you know what I mean. That was released in 2001. The epilogue is available after you complete all the routes. It's just Shiki sits in a field and he talks to Aozaki Aoko, who is his mentor or something, and she's like, your brain didn't explode. Cool. And he's like, yep, we don't live my normal life now. Bye. It's like an existential reward for doing good. Now, as we've discussed in some other Teach Me's, we're going to pivot away from plot to like conceptual stuff, some high-level shit. There are a few structural differences between the universe in Tsukihime versus Fate. Literally, this is called out as Fate Worlds versus Tsukihime Worlds, with caps. So, I think we've mentioned this before, but to reiterate, Fate Worlds are based off of affirmation of human history, aka the human order. In them, the Throne of Heroes is accessible, heroic spirits can be summoned. Pretty simple stuff. The plot of Fate goes. In Tsukihime Worlds, these are based on the redacted of human history. Yeah, it's literally Nasu's fucking black text boxes. Whatever. Man up. Write something down for once in your life. Stop making everything fucking mystery boxes, Nasu. Seriously, I don't know who told Nasu that redacting everything was cool, but I think it stopped being cool at some point. Anyway, heroic spirits can't be summoned, and dead apostles reign supreme. Only they don't reign supreme because humans are still here. I don't know. And also there are some parallel worlds which have elements of both Tsukihime and Fate continuity because fuck me, I guess. I don't know. This is one of those concepts where, like, there's a very clear division that Nasu wants to be real, but also it's not real. It's fake. Like, it's just... I guess some people just wanted him to explain the differences between the two settings and why they don't cross over, and he was just like, well, in this setting, this doesn't make sense, but if this happened, this would... Blah, 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 blah. Go down the hole. The primary split for this seems to be Zelrich's confrontation with the Crimson Moon, which happens in both continuities. It's referenced by Rin in Fate's Day Night, I think.
Yes.
So, but as a result, in Fate-type worlds, this does not result in the creation of the organization known as the Dead Apostle Ancestors, who do something to the strength of human order, and in Tsukihime-type timelines, it does. So, true apostles hypothetically exist in Fate timelines. For instance, we saw this with Consort Yu. It was said that she's not quite a true ancestor, but she was compared to them. So Da Vinci knows what those are. Those aren't completely unknown. And many of the characters who would be Dead Apostle Ancestors exist, but they are not Dead Apostle Ancestor guys. For instance, Forest of Einosh, encountered in Case Files. That's normally a Dead Apostle Ancestor in Tsukihime, but he's referred to as, or it is referred to as just a Dead Apostle in Case Files. So there's some loosey-goosiness to it. Now, similarly, Tsukihime characters sometimes cameo in Fate works, from the Aoizaki sisters to the fact that Arc appears as a berserker, straight up as a boss in the Ranny route of Fate Extra, despite the fact that the mere presence of the Moon Cell means her own backstory can't be true. Now, if she was created by the Moon Cell or came from a different universe, like Rogishiki, who appears as a bonus boss, is unclear. But, yeah, that's not even like a bonus boss. She's just the berserker round fight in the Ranny route of Extra. She's just there. I can't wait to see if she's still in the remake. Because, fuck, dude, you need to explain it. Only Nasu's like, no, I don't gotta explain shit. And I'm like, God damn it, you mushroom piece of shit. Explain yourself. But no, Arc's just there. She's a berserker. She jokes that her class would be funny vamp, but obviously that's fake, and also, that FGO won't do that. We're not gonna make up another bullshit class. We already made up a bullshit class. It's a class literally about bullshitting. Hey-yo. Now, I think the interesting crux here is the subject of Kar no Kyokai, because Kar no Kyokai, Garden of Sinners, very strong direct connections to Tsukihime and its characters. It is canon. Shikitono receives his glasses, his mystic eye killers, from Aozaki Toko directly, right? Like, that's where he gets them, you know. The all-girls school is set in that town where Tsukihime is also set. So there's, like, direct connections, but they're also not quite the same continuity. And additionally, Kar no Kyokai was picked first for a collab with FGO. It was FGO's first collab, in fact. And this means that we've got 2 Shikis and Fujino as a playable unit, out of Kara no Kyokai, which is an older work which isn't even directly Type Moon, though they do have the licenses for it. I assume that happened when they republished the novels they reprinted them in like 2004. So it's an interesting nebulousness of continuity. Kara no Kyokai is very thematically, very mechanically linked directly to Tsukihime. It was the next thing that Nasu wrote basically after that. But it is more compatible with FGO somehow than Tsukihime has been so far. And who knows, maybe it's just because they didn't want to blow their load on the collab while they were working on the remake, because they've been doing that for 12 years. Now, another way to look at this split, as provided by some of FGO's own background stuff, is basically who is on top of the counterforce. Which entity is running the counterforce? Because we've talked about this before. There's kind of 2 counterforces. There are 2 embodiments of the force that keeps the Earth from exploding. In Tsukihime worlds, the top dog is Gaia, suppressing the human order with her anti-humanity dead apostles. Once again, I don't actually know how successful she is. That just seems like it's a weird theme thing that Nasu came up with, that the dead apostles are holding us back, when I don't really think they are, honestly, even in 1999. But anyway,
I think it's an object of scale to think about it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in a sense, whatever they're doing is suppressing human order, because Elia cannot make counter guardians and heroic spirits manifest in that way to just bully them. So it's doing something. It's much more esoteric and metaphysical than it seems like it should be.
Well, yeah. Well, just think about if there's heroic spirits, would the events of fucking Tsukihime necessarily panned out the way they would? You think?
Well, I mean, literally not, because I'm pretty sure Dantes kills Roa in the Fate timelines. He kills one of the main bad guys in history. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because he was not powered up by being a dead apostle ancestor. It's funny.
Yeah, but that's what I think it is. It's just basically the thing of problems that would have been solved by heroic spirits, by counterforce being oh my guardians, now kind of run amok, and I'm pretty sure that the dead apostle ancestors are out there coming up with weird ass schemes to hold humanity back, but not so overt that it breaks fucking mystery and whatnot.
I don't even know if they need necessarily to plan. I think just by existing, they are supposed to be such a next evolutionary step from humanity. We can't possibly compete, or some weird bullshit. They just hold us back by being so much cooler than us.
So they're just playing the slow long game, yo.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's a lot more esoteric than you'd think from the words I'm using. And in Fate Worlds, Elia is on top. She maintains the integrity of humanity with her spirits in the counterforce. If you try to fuck with human history, with human order, the counterforce probably will send out a dude in red to come fuck your shit up. By the way, this is an interesting note. In Mahoyoru, when Aozaki Oko contacts her true magic, right? She gets access to the 5th? Yeah, the 5th is hers, I think. It's been a while since I did that Teach Me. She encounters a red-cloaked guy who is probably the counterforce, who is like, yo, you sure you want to touch that? And she's like, yee. And then she gets her true magic powers. So that's a very interesting parallelism of what worlds are in what continuity. Because it seems like if you try to touch the root in both continuities, the counterforce will still yeet you. It's just a matter of what else can the counterforce yeet. It's interesting. Anyway, basically, it's also an excuse for Nasu to do whatever the fuck he feels like and not have to deal with questions. Funny enough, going to some back of our fanfiction comments, dealing with questions like, can Shikitono and Emi Ashiro hang out? By just fundamentally saying that, no, I wrote these 2 versions of the setting to have similar characters and themes, but because of the different themes, they have literally incompatible mechanics. No, they can't cross over. Stop asking. Except when I say they can, but even then, that's just bullshit. I think in her description, Arc, as she appears in Extra, is literally talked about as a fan service character. She's just there to, be like, hey, I recognize you, So, yeah, it's supposed to be clearly defined boundaries, except for when it's not clearly defined boundaries, and we ignore the boundaries, because the boundaries are not real. But they're real enough that we're left with some interesting questions about the hypotheticalness of things. Do I think that means there can't be a Multi-Blood / Tsukihime collab in FGO? Fuck no. Of course not. There was literally a cameo for, like I said, there's literally a cameo of Arc and Extra. They can make it work. We can be reasonably certain, like I said, that true ancestors exist. And other nonsense. So we could have characters appear or have them be sucked into different timelines because we're literally about fucking with time. But It's very much the rules exist until I say they don't kind of a thing.
Clearly, we just need to be sucked into a timeline where fucking it's just, there is no fucking. I mean, like we've had weird bullshit before. We got sucked to the future once.
We got sent to the future. We've been in worlds where we technically can't contact the throne. Like that was actually Lost Belt 3. We could not summon ambient heroic spirits without our catalyst. It was not able to get through. We had to call on units from Chaldea because that's just where the setting was. It's a little freaky deaky. But there you go. That's 2 pages and still super, super high level. If you can read Moonspeak, check out the remake if you want to see what's up there. So, yeah.
A princess, but also we'll kick your ass.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the Berserker affiliation would be good. It fits what I understand of her personality of just like, hello, I am here. I'm also God. I'll punch you. But I'm cute, right?
Let's make out.
You thought you could murder me. That's adorable. Why does Shiki try and murder Arc when they meet? Well, read Tsukihime to find out. That, I'm sure, has to have stayed in the remake.
And it kind of has to.
That's their weird fucked up meet cute. I think that has to stay because it's kind of the like explanation of all the nonsense. It sets up a lot of the themes of the route. But yeah, there's your Tsukihime. Tsuku and my Hime.
Giggity.
But yeah, like I said, if you want to go deep, I don't know what your grammar is there, Tyrano. Is it like the same way in the roots like in Fate? Have you ever wanted to go even more? Kind of. So I believe there's a decision split like between the near side route, because they're basically the same story. Like it's literally just do you collaborate with and hang out with Arc or Seal more basically, and then in the far side routes you just like don't even mess with any of that. I think they start completely differently. Like I don't even know if you meet Arc in the far side. You do meet Seal because she's pretending to be your senpai, even though she's an executor for the church. But in the twins routes, Seal's just a supporting character. In Akia's route, she's just like, hello, I'm an executive for the church, but I figured out you are not the blood-sucking monster around here. I'm going to go now and erase all your memories. So I was never here. Bye. Peace. She does the peace sign and fades away. So, like, there's some related characters, but I think that Nearside and Farside are structurally different. So I don't think it is. I don't know if it's quite like Fate Stay Night, where you basically have the exact same prologue from Rin's perspective, and then it forks from there. But all right, there you go. There's your questions of that, and there's your idea of the plot. It's different every time. I mean, kind of like I said, the Nearside and Farside have similar thematics, similar antagonists. You know, they get looped throughout the bits, but it's definitely as you would expect from this kind of visual novel. It's a little bit like Fate Stay Night, where like a lot of the characters and the faces are the same, but depending on what characters you're interacting with, the themes and character growth routes become wildly different. I would say that I'm not sure that Tsukihime seems as like explicitly focused as Fate Stay Night is thematically. Like the 3 routes they ended up in Fate Stay Night form a clean coda. We've talked about like how the different like idealism versus cynicism sliding scale stuff works, right?
All right.
Like there's a very obvious thematic hook into the 3 routes. I don't get that read from Tsukihime. I think it's just that Nasu like had some different ideas for like the different character routes and approached it in a more normal visual novel type fashion, which makes sense. Tsukihime was first. You know, it was like, was it 3 years before? I think Fate Stay Night was it 02 or 03, guys? Or am I wrong? Is it even later? I don't think it is though.
Oh, because the Fate Stay anime came out in 2004.
Yeah, so I think it was 03 then, probably. Or it could be 02 though. Could have been a 2-year gap. I don't know. But all right, let's see. Mission clock 2 hours. All right. I'm gonna stretch my bones.
Bones!
It is getting a little later, but the episode is not super long, so hopefully it won't be a pain in the ass to edit everything. And I think we can also knock out of the park our Fanservant Friday as well, so let me pull that up. This month, I almost said week once again. I do that a lot. This month, the good people of our 5 and up patrons have voted for this month's Fanservant Friday, Ada Lovelace Caster. She was quite high on that list. But there are others. We will resume Fanservant.
Oh, the
Friday.
anime was 2006. Okay. I guess
I
I
thought it was 06. So it was 04 to 06, yeah. But, also, by the way, this is what happens when we're not looking at our notes, because time is a construct. But alright, if you don't know who Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace is, First of all, her maiden name was Byron, as in that guy.
Fucking Byron.
Lord Byron, a.k.a. George Gordon Byron, the very infamous poet. Remember how I talked about Byronic Hero earlier? That's him. That's his idea. Those were his stories that did that. Also, in real life, he was a melodramatic motherfucker.
Yeah, no. I mentioned this before. It's been said that Mary Shelley based Doctor Frankenstein off of him.
Yeah, because they were pals.
Yeah,
they hang out and stuff. So Ada had an interesting upbringing. Her mother, Lady Byron, was a mathematician. But Ada Lovelace is Lord Byron's only legal child. He had several other children out of wedlock with other ladies. But Lord Byron didn't really get to hang out with his daughter. He was separated from his wife like a month after his daughter was born and left England forever. He wrote a poem that commemorated their parting, which is on the lines, "Is thy face like thy mother's, my fair child, Ada, sole daughter of my house and heart?" He was very melodramatic. So basically, Lady Byron thought that Lord Byron was a crazy motherfucker, and that poetry was dumb and crazy for crazy people. A very Victorian problem. Oh no, all that emotional stuff, all that romantic nonsense. He's clearly crazy. So she taught Ada about math and stuff. It didn't matter. Ada Lovelace actually still really liked poetry. She called her approach to mathematics and so on the poetical science. So she was a little artistic herself. But she worked a lot with mathematicians and scientists. She was friends with famous names like Michael Faraday and also the author Charles Dickens. But the big one is that when she was only 18, she got involved with a working relationship with British mathematician Charles Babbage, who you may recognize as a giant robot. And basically, Ada Lovelace was his protege. They collaborated on a project. They talked about a lot of hypothetical stuff and wrote various papers and samplings. And Ada Lovelace is widely considered to be the world's first programmer because she thought of using Babbage's analytical engine and then his other, unpublished stuff as basically a way to go from not just solving math problems, but, running math ideas. She even had some people are like, oh, we don't know if she actually contributed a lot. I still am. I can literally go on Wikipedia and look up a diagram she wrote, the Note G, which, talks about how the engine of numbers could produce a computer algorithm, basically. So, yeah, she's very early in computer science, and thus is quite important and historical, and I cannot believe that fate has not picked her up yet, because she's connected to Charles Babbage and also is a woman who is a nerd. And also is related to Lord Byron and Mary Shelley, knows, Michael Faraday, Charles Dick. It's crazy. History's crazy, y'all. So, as a servant, Ada Lovelace, Augusta Ada King, is a caster of a lawful neutral variety. As you might expect from this kind of, half-ass casteriness. Yeah, her math was surround. It would have worked if the the difference engine had actually been built, but it wasn't. That's what Babbage's thing is about. Anyway, core stats. Also, by the way, I have posted a lovely portrait of the Countess of Lovelace in Patreon chat. Join us on Patreon. You too can get these images.
She got some sweet months.
It's the power of the bustle. Very popular. But so, as you would expect from a semi-modern caster who's not really a caster, but, Babbage is a caster. We can work with it. Her stats are not usually super great. Strength D, Endurance E, Agility D, Magic Power B, Luck C+. I do believe it was actually noted that she had some issue with... She loved to test out her math by gambling, so she actually occasionally racked up gambling debts. So, middling luck. NPEX, because of course it is. Class skills, item construction, and interrogation D. Pretty normal. Nothing, can't compete with the likes of, Medea and other famous historical witches and wizards, but, enough to get by. Personal skills, concentration, C. The same ability that Babbage has, immersing yourself in attack, task, inhuman focus, calculating, planning, building. They we're colleagues and work closely together, they should have slightly similar skill sets, you know? I also developed a gambling math skill. So she has a talent for gambling, which just sounds like a personal skill, but it's all math-based. This is another historical fact, like I said. She was known for coming up with mathematical schemes to win large bets. She would literally crunch numbers and try and win bets. Like, I assume, like, bets on, like, horse or dog racing or sports bets or something. Maybe other kinds of gambling. So it's not a perfectly reliable skill, but she can calculate probabilities and to some extent manipulate outcomes with pure math. She is a mathematician. She has a skill of math. I think concentration is NP gain up, star gain up. Let me actually check. Let me go look at Babbage's skills. Also, by the way, I don't know if anybody else thinks of it this way, but in my mind, I would assume that Ada would have to be a 4-star to Babbage's 3-star because of being a lady. And also, arguably, being more famous these days. Like, how many times have you heard a reference to Lovelace, especially in references to computers, as opposed to poor old Charles Babbage?
I can have some commentary on that, but I'm going to not for the sake of remaining politically correct.
Yeah, so concentration is NP gain and star gather. So gambling math would probably be like crit chance up, you know, literally gambling on the crits.
Makes sense.
Maybe a star bomb, because casters are usually really bad at that. And then final personal skill, poetical science B. So she was raised on logic and math, but she deeply respected her father, even though he was gone and died in Greece when she was like 8. The famous poet Lord Byron. So to her, art and mathematics are both tools to understand the unknown. So, you know, she called her approach the poetical science, like trying to figure out esoteric things with you know, math. Like, talked about stuff like calculus of the heart. Like, mathematical calculations could understand literally anything, including art, emotion, etc. So basically, this gives her the ability to use math to figure and logic to figure out supernatural events just like normal ones. Might even be able to figure out abilities and true names of servants and noble phantasms. Because she gets to use math to do things that math is not good for, because mystery. This would probably be like a targetable NP seal kind of a thing. Maybe like a buff strip as well. You know, the usual kind of thing for these revealing type skills. And just be fun. So, gave her 2 noble phantasms. Let's do the one that is alphabetically first, actually, because that kind of explains, I think, why I decided to go for Caster especially, and why I think it works. And may even works as a higher rarity rank than Babbage. So this one is Enchantress of Numbers, programming the difference engine. This is an anti-personnel self A-rank noble phantasm. This is just kind of the culmination of everything everybody said about Ada Lovelace in her life. Charles Babbage literally called her the Enchantress of Numbers and a lady fairy. Thanks, Babbage. You're a real great guy. So, yeah, basically, everybody thought she was super cool and great at math, and possibly literally magical. So, as a lifelong student of mathematics, she believed that literally everything could be solved as a mathematical equation, including the human psyche. This is sublimated as a mathematical, as a noble phantasm, so she can perceive the entire world as equations and algorithms. She can use this to understand emotions and thoughts of others, predict outcomes, and manipulate outcomes, and also she can apply these equations to her own magic circuits and magical energy, making her super efficient at magecraft, which she never could do in real life. But, you know, noble phantasms compensating. And since Nasu has this weird thing about science, fantasy, and computers, modern magecraft systems could be likened to programming, so basically her ability as a servant with a noble phantasm makes her better than magecraft with, you know, magic families with pedigrees going back centuries, because literal cheaty bullshit. So this would basically explain how she has access to, you know, caster type abilities as a servant, even though she should not necessarily have direct access to magecraft. But it works out. This may or may not be like one of those noble phantasms we said as a standalone skill, or actually be like her main attack is just a big magic bomb. But the other one is probably the big boy, the analytical engine, the world calculation engine EX, an anti-world noble phantasm. This is the incomplete prototype of Charles Babbage's computer, the analytical engine. So, Babbage's thing is that he possesses a reality marble that is his unrealized dream of the world of Steam. That's not Ada Lovelace's thing. They don't share noble phantasms. I don't think that works out, because that's not like That's not what her vision was about. That Babbage's idea was to create the analytical engine and kind of see that unrealized future. Hers was programming it, working with it, developing it. So she possesses the blueprints to complete the incomplete project, the legendary first computer. I kind of like how Semiramis can build the Garden of Babylon, even though it's not technically hers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Attributed and whatnot.
Ada developed theoretical notes and ideas for this machine, developing first computer programming, understanding that the analytical engine could do more than just math. It could also apply to be abstractions. Think of all the deep learning AI bullshit computers do nowadays. So, since it was never built, she must first take the plans and actually, cultivate materials and magical energy to complete it. But then once it's done, the analytical engine is a powerful calculation machine. If she programs it correctly, it can be used to analyze and predict any action or calculate any occurrence in the past. Its legend is bolstered by omnipotent computers such as the Great Trismegistus, which is Atlas's magic computer that computes all this stuff. And it stands on par with this computer, and its calculations might even be able to change the world. The downside is that servants who have madness enhancement, mental disorders, or exceptional luck can defy the calculations and understanding of even the analytical engine because, luck. Also, and in terms of madness, literally doing things that don't make sense. So, again, I'm not sure which one would be the actual, NP card NP. Analytical engine probably works as, a huge, probably a Sherlock tier team buff. Give everybody sure hit and evades and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't draw... I also don't know if I knew the photonic crystal comparison. I didn't draw express comparisons to the moon cell, but definitely probably similar to, like I said, the Trismegistus computer that Atlas has, which... Chaldea had a copy of Trismegistus 2, so it fits the lore. It's a big, strong magic computery thing. Probably gives out big team buffs, maybe debuffs enemies. Maybe it's a percentage-based debuff. So if enemies have madness enhancement passives, they're less likely to get hit with a buff or a debuff kind of a thing. But for non-Zerker enemies, it's better. Could give you some interesting niche play. And for tools and armaments, I gave her a dueling pistol. Which I believe I took from... I think actually that was a note that she actually did, own some dueling pistols. I don't think she ever actually dueled anybody, though. There's a famous webcomic about Ada Lovelace and Babbage solving steampunk crimes.
Awesome.
That you may have heard of. But, art design-wise, I suspect you'd start with probably something very similar to this portrait I posted, Victorian lady elements, and then as you ascend, she gets more steampunk. Starts getting gears and stuff bolted on, probably gets one of those weird skin-tight programmer bodysuits that has Tron lines. Think like Futaba's Phantom Thief outfit. Probably needs the goggles. It's not steampunk if you don't have some goggles. That kind of a thing, as we get more and more magical-y. But yeah, once again, Ada Lovelace, cool lady. Very historical, very cool. I like how she blended math and also art. And also, once again, completely flabbergasted Fate hasn't done something with this yet. Maybe it's just because we haven't done anything with Babbage, because nobody talks about those first, 4 or 5 story chapters in part 1. Isn't it sad, Babbagein? But, just think of Babbage's, weird parent/car relationship with Summer Fran, and then just, think how that would apply to his actual honest-to-God protege, who also didn't have a father figure.
So does that mean that fucking Ada Lovelace and Fran are sisters, almost? I need to see this.
I mean, think about it this way. What is Frankenstein's monster if not the child of Mary Shelley?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, math. 1 + 1 = 2. That would probably be another funny way to talk about it, especially because Fran is, biomechanical entity, and then Ada would be all about programming. I think that could be an interesting relationship. Like I said, there's a lot of unmined potential here.
Oh, yeah.
Help me out, FGO. Do it. You know you want to. They'd probably be, even stupider and crazier than I am, and I gave her access to god computer powers. Hack the Gibson of the planet. Y'all remember Hackers? It's great. Had payphones in it. I don't know why that was a meme on Twitter a couple weeks ago. Anyway, y'all should watch it if you hadn't. Well, yeah, everybody with, Servant and their netmail stuff would definitely be fascinating. Because that's all, byproducts of the... It would be kind of similar to how we blew Qin Shi Huang's mind with a smartphone, right? Like if you handed Ada Lovelace and be like, "Hey, I have a computer that does math and it has a calculator in it and it does math and also it I can talk to people through the airwaves, and it fits in my hand.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if Layla just pulled up a fucking Murasaki, and just one day we have an IT office in our Chaldea. It's like, when did this get here?
She's just built the analytical engine as our server room.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you ask, how did this get there? Babbage is just boiling in the corner. We built it. Get me some tea. I'm like that droid in The Ninth Jedi. I drink tea.
Like, honestly, because here's the thing, like, as much as people, like, talk, like, you would say about that, you gotta remember, servants are given knowledge of the modern era, and you do, like, hear about, like, and sometimes they fumble over the words, like, you know, fucking Oni's talking about television and not, like, fully understanding Saturday morning cartoons, but they get what it is. Like, fuck, one of my favorite things is that fucking, Osakabe Hime, fucking, Kiyohime, and fucking, Tamamo have a fucking chat room that they, like, send messages and stuff. So they're not completely... Yeah. But no, so I can totally show Ada Lovelace being like, showing up, being all like, I need to get my hands on some computers right the fuck now. And she just opens up.
She steals Han's tablet.
Honestly, I think she would have an interesting relationship with writers as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she knew some. So, like, also, it's funny you brought up Murasaki Shikabu. I bet, like, she would be a huge fan. She would be like, oh my god, you're a famous poet. And you're fucking melancholy and shit. Oh my god, do you want to have tea sometime? And Murasaki would just be like, what?
Awawa noises commence.
Yes, I'm too awawa for this. Well, and I think that is, Axe spit something of an interesting chat, a cross-section between inventors and writers. I think that is the interesting thing about Ada Lovelace, both as a person and as a potential character for Fate, was her, like I talked about earlier, her access of art and hard math, right? Which puts her in an interesting position where she was, you know, close to all these mathematicians and did all this mathematics work, but also really liked poetry and was like, how can I apply math to human psychology? You know, stuff like that, like figuring out people. So there's, I think, some interesting potential. Like, I suspect she would. That's another great thing that would hook up with like the whole Fran Babbage triangle is also Moriarty, a literal mathematics professor. Mm-hmm. And I think based on timing, I think that would be. Let me double check dates and stuff. But I'm
honestly,
pretty sure that's fairly.
That's probably why Babbage and Moriarty are always seen together, because they're both fucking they're both math teachers.
Yes.
For better or worse.
Ada was early 1800s. And unfortunately, died at age 36 of uterine cancer.
Ooh.
But I suspect that means that, like, when was... I bet Moriarty has... Yeah, he has his own Wikipedia entry. First appearance in The Final Problem in 1893. Yeah, so... he would probably be a strapping young lad when Ada was rolling around writing papers and stuff, so he would probably be a huge fanboy, even though he's old now. That would be kind of funny, like, seeing like, Ada and Fran hang out on, like, an interpersonal level, and then Moriarty acts like a schoolboy.
Oh, no, he's clearly got to adopt Ada as his own as well. I mean, that's Fran's sister, so clearly he is her papa as well, and Baptist can be like, I'm not having none of this right now.
Yeah. Ada's just like, no, sir, my father is Lord Byron, the famous poet. You may have heard of him. I mean, it makes total sense for Moriarty. But, like I said, there's a lot of these fun little interactions that like I said, Ada Lovelace is pretty famous. You see her, it's not even really her name. Like, it's what her, like, working name was, like her moniker. But like I said, that's because she was the Countess of Lovelace via marriage. Her husband, what was his name? It was something King. He was made the Earl of Lovelace, so she became Countess of Lovelace. The Right Honorable Countess of Lovelace. But, like, I'm fairly certain there are anime characters with the name Lovelace, like, in reference to AI and computers and stuff. So, I'm sure Fate knows about it. It's probably just trying to, like, fit it in a way that doesn't, like, necessarily outright approach her. Well, I mean, no, you'd call her Ada Lovelace. Like, that's what people know her as. And, you know, Ada was the name referenced in Byron's poem, so I'm sure she would prefer that name as well. Well, that has nothing to do with Kagetore's maiden name. That's just it's a childhood name thing. One, I think that's because they're trying to be cute, so you don't realize it's Usagi Kenshin right away. But also, they do this as kind of a way to, like, remind you that characters can sometimes be different people at different points in their arc. Think Ushi Wakamaru. That's, you know,
I was going to bring that one up.
Yoshitsune? Of course, similar names. Yeah, Yoshitsune. That's Yoshitsune's childhood name. Now, does this mean that technically Ushiwaka is supposed to be somewhere in her early to mid-teens? Probably. It's very unclear, though, how that works. It's also weirder when you get to see her summer form, which is supposed to be like a throwback to when she was even younger. But because of the power of summer, she is, more mature and developed. Don't ask me how fucking character designs work. It's all poetical science, baby.
Brought it back.
Yeah, I brought it back around. So yeah, Ada Lovelace is cool. If you don't know about her, you should. But you probably do, like I said. And I think there's a lot of cool potential here. Especially, like I said, given how much of a weird nerd Nasu is about combining computer programming and magic. We shall see. We do know that, like, they sometimes backburner some stuff. There was mention recently in that interview that originally the Count Cagliostro was going to appear in Heiankyo, and they decided to cut it for time, which means they've got a design for Count Cagliostro somewhere that they didn't use yet. And here's a writer tip for y'all. If you don't use something, use it again later.
Save it, yeah.
You already did the work. You can just use it again when they're not looking. That'll be like a minor what's up point. Like, I literally told you guys when you decided to do your routes in Star Wars a certain way. I was like, all right, so the thing you're doing, that means you're not going to bump into certain NPCs and certain subplots, but I'll just reuse them later, so don't care. I'll just recycle them back.
I think he knows what he's doing.
I've learned a lot over not wasting effort, but I believe I will let that go for now. So, obviously, next month is October. I won't tell you exactly who's on it because I haven't decided, but it will absolutely be spooky.
Spook.
I think we started with I think our first Fanservant Friday poll was a spooky one, so I've got some leftovers from there, and I've got some new shit. I do need to take some time, I think, and double-check my roster for some extra concepts, but we'll be perfectly fine for a few more months of Spookum. And that will be that. So, with that, all that lucky, and we still haven't crossed the official 2.5-hour mark yet.
I think we're just going to have to make it a short one.
Yeah. I don't know if YouTube will like it, but we'll try. Watch the episode twice if you liked it. Maybe you'll catch some stuff you didn't catch the first time around. And if not, we've always got a backlog. And hey, this just means that it's much more likely that after this episode is ended, you will go watch What's Up streaming live, probably right now or shortly from now after this has gone live on YouTube.
I need to pick something to stream. Fuck.
Yeah, you do, because Bloodstained would not necessarily be good.
And I don't want to do Terraria. Well, I could do Terraria, but we
have a lot to talk about. We shouldn't distract ourselves. I think that was our key. That was our key problem with What's Up last week. Was we distracted ourselves with Terraria, and literally you had a numbered list of things you forgot. Don't worry. If you want to know what those were, if you watched last week's What's Up and we'll watch this week's What's Up, but you want those things, go and watch our Bloodstained stream. We cover all of it there. Lucky gets into it. He remembered his list. Actually, Lucky didn't remember his list. He wrote it down on Twitter, and then I think for like 4 or 5 bullet points, I just pulled it up on Twitter and threw him out there when Lucky got lost. It's okay. I was co-host. He was bloodstained in
Bloodstained in. This week we got Kina. Did you pick up Kina, by the way?
I have not actually picked it up and downloaded it yet, but I'll do it this weekend.
Righto.
I'll be pre-prepped. But yeah, that's what we're doing next. We're doing Kina Bridge of Spirits. I will be playing. I will be purchasing and downloading the game. So tune in on Monday if you're interested in that. Reviews are and they're good.
No, actually, I can't do Commotion Waves because otherwise I will fall asleep. I'll be too relaxed for this shit. Oof.
Oh, will I risk spooky, scary skeletons again? No. We can't do that anymore. No. It's sad but true. Not even like remixes. You'll have to supply your own spooky, scary skeletons. I mean, if I sung it myself, that's a cover.
Spooky, scary skeleton, shivers down your spine.
Yeah, if YouTube comes at us for that, I don't know what to do.
They will know. But it's at the end, so it doesn't fucking matter. It won't ruin anything. The plan.
Also, if YouTube comes at us for that, I'm gonna be like, "Come on, guys, we can't even. Where's the fair use? Where's the parody? We can't even sing our own covers of stuff. Come on, help me out here. There are whole bands who are nothing but cover acts. Anyway, we're winding down the show. Tune into What's Up if you want more us. It'll be soon. It'll be great. Like I said, there was a fucking Nintendo Direct that was, oh my god, chef's kiss. Like, in terms of things to talk about, holy shit.
They got me. They fucking got me.
Fucking
I thought it was one thing, but it was another.
Also, just fucking surprise Miyamoto sliding in there with that thing. Jesus Christ. Dropping the cast for the Mario movie and fucking leaving. Oh, we'll talk about it. Oh, will we talk about it? There's so many things to talk about. They had lots of mic drops, actually. But also, Star Wars Visions came out this week, and holy shit, it's good, guys. Go watch it. It's another thing you could do with your time that you're not getting on this. Watch that. Like I said, watch the progression episode that came out. It's week 39. I called it the Xyz Generation. It's also very good. Like, some of the duels are super intense and really fun and a lot of back and forth. So much interaction. So, yeah, it's if you want to get more of us. And, of course, you can get more of us next week when we come back. Well, okay, I'll put it this way. If they've announced when the pre-release campaign is, I will do the pregame for Saber Wars 2 next week. If not, I will probably be doing Saber Wars pregame 2 weeks from now on the 8th. That said, let me double-check exactly when Summer 6 ends. The 29th. Okay, so JP will absolutely be a few days into some something filler time, and then possibly have announced whatever their next full event is. It should probably be a Goody Goody Yamatai rerun.
Well, they don't necessarily always put the rerun in the same time slot. But...
That's true, no. But it has been about a year, and I know Himiko hasn't gotten any read-ups, so that might be a good time filler before New Halloween, allegedly? Watch, they're gonna do like Nerofest. They're gonna fucking rerun Halloween 1 to remind you what the plot is, because it's been 6 years.
They might.
Hey, if they gave old school Caster Liz, like, they added her to like FP Gacha or something, or they put her in like a main interlude drop like BB, and gave her a buff, I would not complain.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's like, she needs buffs. That's what she needs. She needs buffs.
Buff that NP, buff some other shit. I mean, honestly, her skill kit at least is semi-unique. It's probably just her NP needs to be fixed, because it's never been buffed, and it's Vanilla's exact NP, only it's shittier because Vanilla's NP has been buffed. Animation update as well, probably.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, animation update then, probably.
Her animations were unique at the time, but are not so. Yeah, that's right, guys. There was a time when the fact that Caster Liz dropped pumpkins that exploded on people was unique compared to Caster Balls. So we'll see. JP has a lot of things to go out there and see what's up. We never know when they're going to sneak something new in, or when they'll just, throw something old at us. We've got some reruns, some stuff that can go through, so they've got plenty of things to fill in. We straight up do not know if they're going to do a festival type event this year. I believe that the summer event is almost like a semi-lotto. Like, I don't know if it's like a full lotto or what. If it's a full-blown lotto event, then yeah, it just straight up replaced Nerofest this year, so timing. But yeah, should be interesting. Okay, so it's just a mats type of thing, so it's not quite a lotto. Okay, so who knows? Maybe there'll be a full-blown lotto, maybe there won't. You had a lotto already this year. We'll see what JP is doing, so we'll hit you up with any news on that front next week. We may or may not have some thoughts about Oniland rerun then, because we'll have played some more stuff, seen some more story. I think by a full week from now we'll be on the raid. We'll maybe get to see how crazy people are going with the eggs. I'll have at least grinded enough of the event that we can probably talk for 5 minutes about how cool it is now that we already have the damage CEs and stuff. We don't have to worry about this fucking point ladder that is also damage. Oh my god, it hurt so much last year. Yeah, it's about all our future plans. So that's the limits of our clairvoyance. We'll see you next week. It's time for the outro, I think, Lucky.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I'm going to scratch my nose. And I'm going to remind you that, first of all, if you like this episode, go ahead and give it a like. Click that like button right now. It's good for your algorithms. Maybe it'll recommend you some other stuff we've done that you haven't seen before. If you have any comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. You can also hit up our Discord, join that in the link in the video description and on our channel page. If you are new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to get more of our content. Get those sub numbers going. Don't let the algorithm pick what you watch. Use your sub box instead. It's better. You can also hit that bell for notifications, even if you're already subscribed, so you always know we post a new video, or more importantly, when we stream, such as What's Up or Monday streams. Check it. It's good for you. And I think I said this last week as well, but also it's straight up, I think it's just good for you. Like, I don't think YouTube gives us anything for you smashing more bells. It's just a tool to make your life easier. Check it out. But if you do want to make our lives easier, consider hitting us with that join channel button. You get access to emotes and membership badges. You can also shoot us a super thanks if you're a cool dude, and then you just want to thank us one time rather than subscribe. And like it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month, or approximately $10 a year. There's a percentage rounding. At higher levels, you can get access to topic polls like Teach Me Mega Sensei and Fanservant Friday. New polls next month. So, make sure you're squared up then and you can vote. Democracy. At higher levels, you can listen to Let's Talk FGO get recorded live and get on-air shoutouts and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out and supports us. And I think that's it for this week.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye!
Don't eat too much candy and funnel cake. Careful on the roller coasters.
All about that pumpkin pie right now, yo.